Yeah, already.
Sound buttons are go.
Sound buttons are a good.
Whatever stupid thing you're about to say it.
Before it's already hit. It's already hit. You're fucked. You have to keep all crazy thoughts to yourself. Why is everybody's shit? Look, everybody's shit is resized again.
Funny enough, like I'm the one that changed my webcam, and I looked the most normal.
Did you quit fucking with my shit?
I didn't fuck your shit.
That's okay.
Do you have like a Discord like full screen?
It's always full screen. I always have it popped out and full screened. That's why I don't understand why
like
it randomly
bar
changes.
Top or bottom, like warning you something? Or they just updated the app, one or the other.
Yeah, I guess it was just an app thing. It's alright. This is an easy fix. It's not too bad. Not like last time. Anyway. So, last week, y'all did some things.
We did some.
And because I went into a southern accent, it wasn't me. And I don't have a very good memory of it. So if I missed something from last week as we go on today, please let me know. So you started out, we were still in Hafen, which is, of course, in Mazent Hollow, kind of central eastern of Ralios. And we had started out when y'all were trying to hatch a plan to talk to poor Mr. Fanty. No, you were trying to distract him so you can talk to his brother. However,
Force you a fruit.
yeah, tried to force him to eat a fruit. That's right. However, there was a change of watch, so to say, and Fanty ended up making a couple announcements, and I believe it was Dorus. Did you go over there and talk to him? Okay, so Dorus went over there and started to talk to him, and he had already heard from Mita, actually, that y'all had been interested in the affliction that was affecting a couple of people here and in the southern Mazent Hollow. So, you know, it's a small town. Shit gets around. So he ended up having a conversation with you guys about what they had already tried with his brother, and appreciated your help, and talked you out of going on to the watch, which, my bad. Sorry. Don't do it. Should have been a little bit more clear.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. However, so you all, after your meal, you went to bed or tried to go to sleep and were attacked by more of these creatures from the Shatter. However, this time you weren't asleep, which begs to question how and why they were able to attack you. There had been no report of any of the afflicted having been attacked, though you did witness the change in the bind as the night grew deeper and late 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning came. Mr. Fanty, making sure everybody was okay, talked with you about what had happened on the watch, how it was one of the worst, not quite incursions, but one of the worst nights that they had had as far as strange creatures coming in. One person had actually died. So, however, you all finally ended up getting a long rest, gaining a little experience from the night, as well as the fruit helped you gain more understanding of the path that you are all on individually. So you were able to level up again. And I was...
Correct.
Yay! So you all can either decide to sleep in or get up after about six-ish hours of sleep. It depends on what you all would do. However, you do know that all of the collaborative, which are the leaders in Hafen, will be meeting in Chris this afternoon to have a talk about what's going on and make sure that Fiente has all the information needed before he goes to the meeting in Sheer Lumen, or is it Sarentor?
Sarentor.
Sarentor. Goes to the meeting in Sarentor. So it is up to you guys if you think that you would be knocked out forever.
I think I'd be excited to get up.
Hours.
Yeah, I think 6 hours would be enough for me.
Okay. So as soon as everybody wakes up, you have the wonderful smell of fried potatoes and some kind of meat just wafting through the air. And you hear sounds of wind whistling through the gaps around the windows here in Hafen at the little tavern. So breakfast is ready, or early lunch, I guess. Let's talk about what's about 10ish in the morning. So brunch. Brunch is ready if you would like to go have brunch.
Yeah, I'm
For sure.
hungry.
But
Oh.
it'd have to be the right stuff, right? Like, I'm not eating bird.
That's fine. Did I say
But
it
it
was
was
fried fucking pheasant?
Might be.
I
Or
thought it was
turkey.
fried potato.
It is. There's fried potato and some kind of sizzling meat.
Okay,
Like, yeah. Yeah, I'll be the first one there. I'm hungry.
Okay.
for sure.
So
I didn't eat the last time because they were serving bird of some sort. Chicken or...
there's other foods.
I'm just saying, like, you guys know. It's like Cannibal Owl.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So as soon as Sully jumps up, smells food, she runs. She's like ready
Yeah.
for food. There's not as many people as there was the night before in here. It seems a little somber. Of course, you know, they had lost one of their extended family members here in Hafen the night before. But there is quite a bit of food out. There's fried potatoes, there's eggs, there seems to be some kind of grilled vegetables and fruits
Whoa.
as well. And the meat, it smells hamish, but you're not really
Yeah.
sure what it is. It's not poultry.
Okay.
So Nemo, it's not poultry.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
good.
getting a bit of everything.
Okay, there's coffee, there's tea, whatever your heart desires is out. It is
Oh my
almost as if they're, you know, it's a celebration of life at the same time as making sure that
Yeah.
everybody is fed for the day, because there's going to be a lot of preparations that need to be done throughout the day.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
So
This
you-
reminds me that when there's a good hunt, and we
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is
perfect.
Doris takes a few minutes before coming down and like gets dressed, fully dressed, and like puts his bags and everything on, grabs his shield and his stick, and comes downstairs maybe 5 minutes later.
yeah.
Okay. Anybody else need to do anything special before
I'm still
breakfast?
sleeping.
You're still sleeping? Okay.
Yeah.
Need-
When I was in bear form and I climbed back into my bed, did I break it, seeing as I probably weighed like 1,300 pounds?
Oh, I thought you had stayed in the corner. Did you climb into bed?
I think I might have tried to, not knowing what was going on, to have some semblance of normality. Like maybe if I just lay down, and I might have broke the bed.
I would say if you had decided to try and get on the bed after hearing the creaking, you probably would have broken the board for that one side.
Okay.
So you can take that up with Fanti when you get up.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna kind of hang back a little bit under the whatever I can find. I'm sure it only lasted for an hour, so
Yeah.
at some point I was able to grab blankets and put over myself. But I'm going to, just for the ease of me driving, I'm like 3 minutes from my house.
Mhm.
I'm going to say I'm sleeping in,
Okay. Cool. Nimu?
but I'll be home soon.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to get...
Okay. Is anybody going to wake up EOA? Y'all just gonna let him sleep.
No, we're gonna let him.
Okay.
Yeah, let him
Yeah.
sleep, yeah.
So
I mean, it was a long night.
He was
Like
up for,
everybody
like,
knows.
24 hours straight.
Everybody knows it was a rough night, so I'm not gonna go wake him up.
okay. So as Soli, as soon as you come in, you're already stuffing your food into your mouth as you're like putting stuff on your plate and you're talking to the room. I would assume like Fanti, right? You're like, reminds me of the hunts back home.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
And Fanti is like, oh, I'm afraid to go into a southern accent.
oh,
I'm sorry, hold on.
no, it's
Um,
not.
I don't want to do it. So I'm not going to, because I don't want to get lost again tonight. He looks over. I'm glad you enjoy it. After everything that happened last night and I wasn't able to protect you, you deserve it.
Oh, either everybody did their best. I mean, I've never heard of these monsters, so I can't imagine. What a nightmare.
Well, after last
Second-
night, if you're here for another night, I would greatly appreciate your assistance and your group's assistance on the watch.
Of course, of course. It's the least that we can do.
Well, it's the least that I can do is at least offer breakfast for those I couldn't protect under my own roof.
It was a very hearty breakfast, so thank you.
Very
Well,
welcome.
We're much stronger than we look.
I understand that. I
I know we look like a traveling circus, but we're actually much stronger than that.
my main concern, of course, was your safety. Putting guests into the path of creatures that we have very little understanding of doesn't seem like a very good host thing to do. And you ended up in danger anyway.
Well, I think there's more to what you said about us attracting stuff. Clearly, we have something going on with us as well.
And, that's also a concern. And it might not be a bad idea if you do end up staying here another night to be out on a watch. So if those creatures decide to expand their horizons of their late dinner, it doesn't end up being any of the members of our town.
So, I have a question for you. Have you had people from all over Avon Blanc come here?
Yes. As far as we know. We don't generally keep track of where people come from. We don't ask questions. It is a... Oh, shit, I fucked something up. I'm sorry. People come here on missions. And it's not our place to question where they came from, their reasons for coming. It's a spiritual event for many people. However, I have seen many different types of peoples from all over. And they all have different ways of dressing, and sometimes you see people with the same type of clothing all in a group or whatever that looks like. But it's not my place to ask direct questions. If you wanted to find out about a specific type of people, Mita has a way of always finding out information about people that you didn't think that would ever be shared. To
Interesting.
put it very frankly.
Yeah, of course. Have you ever heard of the Kinsen?
I had a very close Kingston friend before somehow they disappeared.
My uncle. Well, I live in Wheatley Fields, and pretty much a big portion of the Kinsen lived there. They're my family. I was raised by them, and they're gone. So I'm trying to find out what happened to them. So
If you ever were to find any information, and if there's anything that you think that I can help with, please contact me. I would love nothing more than to actively help in bringing the Keenson back. They were very, very important part of Ralios.
Who?
The Keenson. They
Yes.
were the peoples that lived in Wolfden Falls. They were great
Nice.
protectors. AEE NSIN, I believe.
So I
What was that
still
first
know.
part?
KEE NSIN. Keenson.
And they were great protectors of
Of the peoples around them. They protected the Feely Fields. I believe it's mostly Harengon, and
Yeah.
there were quite a few predator creatures that could be found coming from the northeast of that area, and then all the way up through the natural bridges around the lakes.
So they protected like prey from predator.
Yes, in a way, they were very
yeah.
strong.
But yeah.
They were wolf type creatures.
Yep.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So the way I pictured it is like, okay, because we're playing this type of a game. You remember Zootopia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pictured it as like a wolf that protected the rabbit people.
Yeah, sure. Yes, that's pretty much what it is.
It'd be like if the foxes in that movie weren't complete dick.
Yeah. Well, the wolves weren't. The wolves were dicks in Zootopia, but yeah.
That's yeah.
You just gotta start a howl, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were great protectors of all of the other peoples around them, as well as Wolfden Falls. That was their home, and they were very private.
And they were from where? Wolfden Falls.
Yeah.
They were very
Thor,
private.
Thor sits down and has like a mouthful of fruit and is like, "Where is Falls? It's somewhere in Valley, yes?"
Is the northeast of Bailey Fields, which is northeast of Ventura.
Perhaps later on we venture there and see if we find clues
Well,
for your Kinsin friends.
well, I spent months trying to find anything. So I don't know. I don't know where they went. They just vanished into thin air. And my uncle, he was like a father to me. And I don't know, maybe I had a hope that maybe one was here. But that doesn't seem to be the case. It was pretty isolated over here, so I thought, why not ask?
But we are isolated, but the Keenson and Mazent Hollow had similar histories, so they quite a few times I've traveled to Wolfden Falls, and they would make their way here at times.
The humans there really feels, yeah, no respect for the men. I like the humans here. They're destroying everything.
Were they forced to be there, or were they?
I don't know. I try to get some answers from them, and they're very hostile to me. I don't know. I guess they don't like seeing a human with other non-humans. I don't know. I don't know why they're so hostile. I don't know if it's this trauma from losing their home. This is their way of lashing out. So
I will say, Soli, that we did have humans arrive here suddenly during the disruption, but those that found their way here were treated horribly. So they have, maybe not now, but in the beginning they had good reason to be angry.
Why were they treated poorly?
They're so different.
Yep.
They invaded. What we understood at the time is they invaded and brought these giant creatures with them and brought their war here. So that was how we treated them, was as people who were trying to take what we owned. And so we fought, and many places kicked them out and didn't allow them to settle in proper towns and cities and become part of the life here in Ralios. We had a much different experience, as we are outside of any of the main families, and we're able to actually have a conversation with the creatures that came from Phenovis. And decided to allow them a corner of Mazen Hollow, which has been very prosperous for us. Is there anything else anybody needs?
I guess around this time I'll wake up and
Okay.
head downstairs. And then as I'm walking by the bar wherever the food is, I just grab a chicken leg and eat it right in front of Nemu with no regard.
Whoa.
Barbaric. No, I wouldn't have a problem with people that ate, like, I mean, I get it, right? But like, he just wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing is, like, you and EOA traveled for a while, so for me, it's like y'all just like to poke
Yeah.
fun at each other. Lizard and owl. I mean, first off, you know, owls generally eat lizards, so it's really fucking funny.
Depends on the size.
Well, I couldn't eat him. He's too big.
And you're too small. So
I
you're,
guess
yeah,
I'm eating them.
you're
Oh,
very
nice.
tiny. So, EOA, would you wake up Jax before you left?
I'd probably come down with Jax once
Okay.
he was awake.
Okay. So Jax, food, conversation is coming to a close with Fayente. If you have anything you would like to speak with him about?
Thanks for waking me up. I don't know what was in that bourbon.
I
Fayente,
think it was called Bear.
Wait, what?
Last night, you were a bear.
Did we have some ladies up there or something? I don't know what you mean by that.
You turned into a bear, like a real bear.
A literal bear.
My memory's a little foggy.
Man, I thought my magic was fucked up.
You remember big fight though, yes?
I remember a little bit.
Got a little extra angry, perhaps. Turned into bear afterwards. No big deal.
your little ball of light is pulsing next to you, Jax.
Let's. Do I touch it or? I'm just gonna touch it with my finger.
Okay, as you touch it and you draw your finger away, you see a small strand. Like, it's a very pale blue white that follows your finger, and if you jerk your hand back, it'll release back into your little globe.
Just gonna kind of draw it slow to my head.
Okay, so as you touch it, everybody sees now this like wispy string, and he brings it to his head, and it just kind of slowly draws in, and you have now incorporated the memory from last night.
Well,
Molly was a bear now.
Yeah.
Right.
Is the barkeep person near everybody?
He can be if y'all want him to be. He would just be
It's
kind of
okay.
talking people off and on. So it depends. Like, if y'all would have sat close to the bar, then yes. If not, then he would have gone back to the bar.
Either way, I'll just kind of, wherever he's at, just kind of approach him and be like, I might have broke your bed.
I would say you put on quite a few pounds last night. That's okay. I'm sure the woodworkers will be able to take care of the frame. It won't be a problem.
All right. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. So, yeah.
Truly. Are you sure?
Yeah. Can't quite say I even understand exactly what happened. So, at least you can fix the bed. So.
Do you store memories outside of your head?
Apparently this little floating thing I can. That was my gift from that little firefly dude. I can't. I had my memories taken from me once. It's not happening again. This little thing's gonna help me remember. Apparently, even as a bear, according to you guys.
No, it wasn't according to us. You were certainly a very... Did your memory ball not show you that?
No, it Can we just talk about this later? Like, I'm still trying to come to terms that apparently I was a bear and...
Maybe this is third arm. Your third arm is from bear arm.
I don't know, guys. I'm gonna need some time with this.
I'm gonna go pat him on the back. It's like, do not worry. From my culture, you are like a warrior. And then in Terran, I'm going to continue of poor hygiene.
So one thing, when you did pat me on the shoulder, I like flinched away.
Oh, my poor Jackson, his little trauma responses. Fucking hate it. And love it.
Right, food. I'm quite hungry. Let's go eat some stuff.
As Soli's just like...
Yeah, Doris too.
Yeah.
Chewing on my chicken leg.
Everybody's like shoveling food as fast as they can. Y'all let me know when y'all are done talking, and as you know, y'all can talk and eat as long as y'all need to.
Yes, I'm getting idea that pilgrim life is not easy life.
Not at all.
He said they have people come here on mission sometime. I wonder if others are pilgrim or if only we are pilgrim.
He's like, if you're talking to Fayanti, he's like a little confused.
I just kind of talking to the group, but if he overhears, it's no big deal.
Okay. He just kind of is like strange.
I'm just gonna be shoveling food, whatever looks preservable, into my bag.
Okay. Fried potatoes are good at any time.
I'm sorry, Doris. I was eating. What was it you just said?
Oh, Fayanti, you have mentioned others come here on mission, and they do not ask why missions, but they are here for a various reason. So I'm curious if other people get sent here, often like we did, or if it's just us as special. Pilgrim, yes.
I would imagine not a whole lot of people meet a extra dimensional creature of some sort and then get sent to some place to save the world.
This make me curious where other people come in from then.
We have the map.
I would imagine out of everybody, Eoway might have a map. Dorus for sure would have one. The place where he comes from would have been more than happy to give him a map to find stuff for them.
But I probably have like the big map, not this valley's map, right?
Right. I'm a very visual person, so I had to make a map for Maze End. Like I need to see it so I can see where things are.
I will speak to whatever his name was.
Okay, Fante.
Yeah. Like, do you have a map of this region?
Of Maze End?
Yes.
I'm sure I can have someone bring one to you when we go to Chris. I don't know if anybody has one just lying around.
I think it would be beneficial for us for now.
It would
course.
be.
Yeah, of course. And if we're not able to get you one, I'm sure that you'd be able to get one in Sarantor. We don't have a cartographer here, I'm sorry. We're just a little farming town.
Well, it's fine. I think we have an idea for what we need to do today, right, guys?
Yes.
Yes, perhaps we take it easy daytime and we help with guarding tonight, and then tomorrow we go to Chris for meetings and stuff.
So Chris is today.
Yeah, Chris is today. They're
I
having
thought
a
it was
meeting.
because we woke up in the night. I assumed the day would be like the next day.
Oh, no, the next morning.
Okay.
Yeah, the collaborative is meeting today, and then the three are meeting tomorrow.
We have runes to check out too, and the direction that the bad things are coming.
I did want to check out that rebel before we left Chris.
I know Jax has interest in Chris.
With a mouthful of food.
Is everything close enough to be able to hit? Is everything close enough to be able to hit in one day?
The ruins and Chris, yeah, you would know that, like, everything, there's... All of Maze End Hollow is only a day and a half apart, from north to south. So going to Chris is going to take, like, maybe an hour to get to. The ruins would probably be an hour and a half or so outside of town along the mountain ridge.
Right.
I thought they were
Oh.
just outside of town.
Huh?
I thought they were just outside of town.
They may be just outside of town. Yeah. That's a possibility. If I said that, that's how it is. Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you didn't say.
Oh, okay.
I was just imagining it that way.
Yeah. Well, you gotta have room for all the orchards. And then the ruins. Yes. So if you include all the ranches and the orchards and stuff, then yes, it would be right outside of town.
Are beasts of burden a thing in these parts?
Like my horse.
Yeah, but I mean, that's from wherever you came from. Here, though, are they a thing? Because I don't want to go, like, say, let's go ride Billy from down the street. I want to make sure it's okay.
It's not but an hour travel. If you require aid to travel there, then we have mules.
Right, I didn't know if we found any people who were in that zombified state or whatever, like, if we needed to get them in a cart or something, like, would we have to carry them, or was there something to help pull it along? That's kind of what I was wondering. So I'm glad there's donkey.
Do you expect to find more afflicted just out and about?
I don't know what to expect. But it's better to be prepared for anything.
He looks fairly concerned, because he did take everything that y'all had discussed early that morning to heart. So, yeah, that seems a little concerning to him, that there may be people out there that it didn't happen to, that might be found when on your travels.
I would imagine it's very likely.
Well, I have room on my horse if we ever need to carry someone. I can always walk alongside with Atmos.
So what's our first adventure?
I guess to Chris.
So as y'all are finishing up your conversation about deciding what to do next, Mita walks in, and she sees you all, and she just gets this big smile on her face. Well, it's so good to see you. I'm so glad that you're safe. I heard some just awful things about last night. How is everybody doing this morning? Did everybody get enough to eat? Have you had tea? Have you had coffee? Have you tried the juice? The juice is very good.
I had a bit of everything. It was really good. Thanks.
Good, good, good. She kind of waves over to Fayanti. Well, I am actually heading over to Chris Early if you would like somebody to take you on a tour of the East Fields as you go and explain what you see and what's going on.
For sure.
That would be good.
Yeah.
What type of being is she?
She's a hedge. So
Okay.
she's like the hedgehog type thing. She's the one who led you in from the south.
Gotcha. Thank you for the refresher.
Uh-huh.
Was this the first person we met?
Yes.
Okay.
You see, I'm part of the collaborative. I know I don't seem like I would be, but I am. I deal with public relations. That's my thing.
Well,
And I'm a historian. Well, more like a keeper of knowledge. Is that a historian? Is that kind of the same thing?
Yeah, very similar. Yeah,
You have library here.
We have kind of not as much as I would like. The three have some vast libraries. Mainly, you can find the biggest library in Shirlumen. Shirlumen. They love knowledge and they keep quite a bit of it. Have you ever heard of the tablets that they have? Where the memory, the information is stored in the tablet, and you can access it, and you just like almost live it as if the person who was writing it.
Sounds very intuitive. Very good way of learning things.
Yeah.
Yes, you can learn all types of things. I don't recommend delving into some of the journals of some of the adventurers that came through, or war leaders or those kinds of things. Delving into their minds can be a little, concerning.
Doris is just going crazy about maybe learning something new from these people.
Yeah.
He's asking all kinds of questions, like, is there any information on the first ones in there? Or is there any information on, like, magic people that came from before, that visited the land before? Like, just every question you can think of.
Yes. So if you have specifics, let me know. First ones, yes. From a historical standpoint, of course, no information from the time of the first ones. Magical people that came before. There is a library of theory. There are tablets of theory. Like literally as there was a discussion about the theories that people have of the first ones. So it's like a two-sided conversation in a few of the tablets. What was it? Anything else?
Yeah, anything about the nightmares, anything about the fracture pieces, anything about magical places that have like where magic acts different.
She wouldn't be sure about memories or anything that had to do with the shattered or anything like that. The nightmares, there might be some books, but it would be more theory or pulling knowledge from folk tales and fairy tales about nightmares. Wait, what was the last one?
Is there any runic magic?
I forgot already.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I missed
There's
it.
other types of magic, I believe.
Runic
where
magic?
where magic acts unusual, like
Yes,
locations
yeah.
or places where magic acts unusual.
Yes. Runic magic? Also, yes.
Well, so I have a question specifically for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So you say you're what was it again? A knowledge record keeper.
Yeah, in a way.
Okay.
I have a very
so-
uncanny ability to just learn things and retain them very well.
Well, let me ask you this. When was the last time you've seen a Kinsen in this area?
A Keenson in this area. That would be... I have to check my history. I am so sorry
Okay.
before I get this wrong. I
No worries.
don't want to misspeak. So 11 years ago was the variance. So it would be 11 years ago. It would be 4 months before the time of variance. Would be the last time that she saw Keenson. So just over 11 years.
Yeah. Do you remember anything about them? Anything in particular? Did you ever talk to them?
Well, the one that Fayanti talks to generally, they seem to be quite good friends. He seemed very concerned and hesitant in speaking, strangely enough, here in the tavern. And so they spent a day out on the western slopes and spoke to each other.
Was there like a particular place over there that they'd like to meet, or
on the
in the
western slopes?
Yeah.
There's not much on that part of the western slopes. There's quite a bit of camping and that kind of thing. But unless you're in Vandir, there's really not much. There's some beautiful land. Lots of places for camping and exploring. And I'm sure that they had a favorite place that they went to.
Yeah, I think you're aware of their disappearance, right?
Yes. It's very unfortunate.
It is. Well, I come from that area, Wolfden and Fady. They raised me. I mean, they're my family, and I've been trying to figure out whatever happened to them. They just, they disappeared out of thin air.
They had a similar. You might find some answers at the Temple of the First One.
Thank you. I just want to know whatever happened to them.
Might not be the answer you're looking for, but you might be able to find something that can aid you in your search.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know anything about the ruins near Chris?
The ruins near Chris. Yes, I do. So at any point, y'all can get up and talk and walk. She would just say goodbye to Fanti and say that she'll see him and Chris. So if there's anything that y'all need to say to Fanti or anybody here before you leave, that's okay.
Yeah, thank you for the food. It was really good.
Be sure to take some for the road.
Oh, definitely. Gotta get those fried potatoes.
Yeah.
They're just so good. They're so crispy.
I'm gonna fly up too and just kind of get a different vantage point.
Okay, as you walk.
Yeah, just kind of as an exploration.
Okay. So you begin passing on the east side, not quite as many fields as the south and north. It's more ranches for different types of animals. There are some fields, and then you see kind of spots of the orchard, not the orchards, the vineyards and that kind of thing. So the ruins near Chris. So it was in the time of the first ones. The first ones had multiple different settlements. It's hard to call them settlements. Their building was so different and much more vast than what we use today. There was settlements or cities, but they weren't massive. So settlements. We'll just go with settlements. There were settlements dotted all the way around the valley itself. Nothing close to the Temple of the First Ones. The temple seemed to be its own type of thing, and then you had quite a few different little settlements around it, like surrounding it, really. And Chris was one of those. I'm not fluent in whatever language that they spoke in or used, or any of their writing. I don't know that we've had anybody here that could translate more than a few words here and there. And the settlement in Chris, because of the way the weather is here, eroded much quicker than anything north on the east side, but not as fast as the west side settlements. Because of the winds, there's practically nothing left, but maybe a stone or two. But as far as the people go, from our understanding, that they had different sects, or it's all conjecture, different sects or different types of maybe even religious beliefs of some kind, and they all just had their own little area, I think.
So Chris is a rune city, or it's a city with runes next?
It's a city with runes next.
Okay. All right.
And just so I'm clear on like the erosion stuff you were saying, like Chris has the best kept ruins that we're gonna see, right?
No,
the worst?
the worst.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know any written text I could see?
You might be able to make a few out at the ruins next to Chris, but most of it is eroded. There's a couple of places where you can see some of their markings. If it's runes, we're not sure. And she kind of just like, with her hands, you know, she like shows the shape, which is kind of a, you know, oblong of Maze End Hollow. The winds of Maze End kind of swirl across the west and come down like in a hook, kind of. So they come down the west and very, very strong, and then kind of sweep. And the wind that y'all heard this morning is now, you know, like you can feel it pushing from the west to the east, kind of pushing you on your way. And they swirl down across the south and... Sorry, it's backwards for you guys. And loop down and kind of swirl onto the center near the first one's temple. But because of the way it whips across the south and kind of swirls in at Chris, it gets heavy rains and quite a bit of wind. And the weather is not very nice to those ruins. And that's the reason that the West is so eroded. It's a wonderful thing, really. I mean, it brings all of the nutrients and minerals that we need for our beautiful ranches and our farms, and makes everything grow so wonderfully. It's the only place we know of in Avonvon, really, that has such a brilliant and strange weather system, funneled by the mountains. Yeah, Greece is on the eastern side. So the wind blows straight down the west side, and just, like, there's no trees really on the west side mountains, because the winds are so strong that it just doesn't allow them. You can find shorter trees and shrubs, you know, hardier plants, and then it whips down across the south, and as it hits the east, it kind of funnels like in a C shape before it gets pushed back into the center, where it just continues to swirl. So that wind, as it whips in that corner, and storms build there really quickly. So as you're walking and you're getting closer to Chris, she's talking to you about the weather patterns and all this, you know, amazing things that it allows. The unfortunate parts about, you know, weather that can just eat away a building. And as the wind kind of gusts through, she's like, "Oh, look, there! That right there!" And she points up, and you see, like, riding this breeze, this small creature, and it looks like a mouse with wings. It's strange, but beautiful, and it seems to be, like, dancing in the wind. And you see a couple more kind of just flutter up, and they just dance around each other, kind of like hummingbirds do. They ride the winds all over the area. Look how they play. They're just great. I love those little creatures. They're called a swiftier. Have you ever seen one before? They're wonderful little things.
So, Nimio, if you cannot eat birds, can you eat mouse with wing?
I think I'd be over there, kind of almost playing with.
Okay, that would be cool.
Oh, I see they're friends. Excellent.
Are they feathered or like bats?
Huh?
Are they bats or feathered?
They're actually, I have a picture. I have a picture that does
The
it.
furry mouse body with wings, right?
Yeah, it's just they're feathers. They're really cute.
Is it tiny or is it like
They're
Nemu
not,
size?
they're not as tiny as a mouse, but they're not quite as big as a rat.
Gotcha.
So,
I was imagining like little hummingbird size thing.
yeah, they're a little bit bigger than hummingbirds.
Oh, it's like a mouse harpy.
Yeah, it's a little mouse harpy.
Those are
So Nemu, you
I was
dive
thinking-
over there,
was
and you
thinking
start
of
hearing them chitter
Pegasus.
back and forth. You're thinking what?
I was thinking of Pegasus, like a horse with wings, but it's a mouse with wings.
Yeah. Its wings are more like an extension of its front arms. Very different.
Nemo will just be up there laughing as they play together.
Okay. They kind of roll over each other. So she'll just, continue to explain, like, as you pass the different plants that you see, why things are in certain areas of the land over generations. They've found out what grows best in the south and the north and the west, with the way the winds blow, and also how the storms kind of grow here. She kind of points over to the east, near Chris, and you see where this wind has like swept around the south and come up the eastern side. The moisture is starting to build, and the clouds are almost rolling. And she's like, "Oh, look there! The clouds, they'll roll like fresh baled hay. Sometimes you can even see the little wind spirits dancing in them. These storms come often-ish, but they're quite wonderful to watch build. I don't get to see them very often."
These wind spirits, they are common here, yes?
Say that again?
These wind spirits, they're common here?
Wait, would wind spirits be anything but calm?
Common.
Common. If the storm is strong enough, they are. You don't see them where you're from?
No, I've never seen these before. It's quite interesting looking.
So as like the wind grows and grows and this storm cloud gets darker and heavier with rain, it is fast. When she says they build fast, they build really fast here. And you see these like little flittering strands of cloud kind of just whip across, kind of like riding a wave. They're like windsurfers.
Would I have seen anything like this from like sandstorms or anything?
It's a good question. Roll history, EOA.
I need to look at my character sheet. That is a 16.
A 16. Yes and no. The spirits that you are used to seeing, of course, are not made of little tiny wisps of cloud. It would just be more like condensed sand. And while these spirits seem quite playful, the ones that you are used to seeing were almost embodiments of those giant windstorms. They didn't seem playful. They seemed more focused and intent.
Everything's angry in the desert.
Everything is angry in the desert. That is right.
Even our little wind spirits are angry. Little
I
assholes.
probably have some trauma from whatever.
Oh, sure, for sure. Now you would only see them in incredibly strong storms. Or like, yeah, the big massive ones where you can't see your hand in front of your face. But from what she says, they are definitely more common here than you would have seen in the desert.
I got a random question for you.
Go for it.
Being as a herald of news as you are, have you noticed that on the days when these storms come in, that the night prior was particularly heavy with attacks?
You know, I've never linked one to the other, but that doesn't mean it's not true. Storms have always waxed and waned here, and I've never thought that it would be a pattern. I might have to get out a paper and pencil and do a little calendar checking, to be honest.
Cool. If you find anything that kind of lines up, don't be a stranger. Let us know.
Yeah, I think I will. That's quite an interesting... And as she's talking, she's just kind of looking back and forth. And she stops mid-sentence and runs over to the side of the road. She's like, "Oh, look! Come look!" And if anybody goes over there with her, you see these beetles, good 4 inches long, massive things. And they are an emerald metallic green. And there's a line of them, some big, some small. A couple of the really big ones have a few horns that come off the top of their head. And they're all just in a little line, and you see the smaller ones kind of wobbling from side to side out of the line. And she kind of points up into the tree, and you see the line is going up into the tree. The emerald beetles are on the move. These little creatures are amazing. They move before each storm. Their whole colony, from the ground up to the trees, and then back again once the storm is gone. Sometimes you can even tell how strong the wind is going, or how strong the storm is going to be, depending on how fast they run. They don't seem... It shouldn't be too bad today.
Can I insight check to see if there's maybe, like, glean if she actually knows more than what she just alluded to? Because that seemed like a really quick transition over from, I'm going to take notes to, oh, look, beetles.
Yeah, yep.
14.
So far, she has pointed out quite a few things that she's excited about. She seems to just really be excited to show you different things, and uncomfortable, possibly, that she may not have taken a single piece of information that she should know and another piece of information that she knows, and tried to match them up. She took one thing for granted and didn't think to meet some of the knowledge that she had.
Cool.
Are you saying there's a storm coming?
Yes. She just kind of points up to the massive rolling clouds that's coming, like, towards Chris. Do you not like storms? They bring life and all the minerals and everything and that we need for the valley.
Where I come from, storms can lead to death if you're trapped in one.
Well, I can assure you that this one isn't not going to lead to death. It's more like a freeze shower. And there's all kinds of creatures that you get to see as the storm brews.
Do deserts get rain?
At one period of the year, you might get 3 storms if you're lucky. And they are strong. Have you ever heard of what are they called? The microbursts. Nobody's here heard of a microburst. So think of a tornado without the tornado, and all that energy is focused on a single point in half a second. And it just blows straight down and disintegrates everything in its path. That's a microburst.
Yeah, those are fun. I think they get up to like 120 mile per hour wind.
Oh, my character would definitely have some weather trauma.
Okay, perfect.
But deserts as a whole, at least Air Phoenix only got 6 to 7 inches. Places in the Sahara are a lot less than.
If you've... Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I like to do a couple things while we're all doing stuff with the beetles and whatnot.
Yeah.
First, I wanted to smell the beetles, not because I think I'll recognize them or anything, but I want to like remember what they smell like.
Okay.
So I don't want to roll or anything really. I just
Of course.
say that. And then I want to ask Mita.
You're now familiar with the emerald beetle.
Okay, emerald. Okay, that's the other half the question. I want to ask Mita. Do you suppose that the spirits come with Storm or bring Storm with them?
You know, we haven't quite figured that out yet. The spirits are something that are new, and they're so exciting. We think it's because the storms have been coming here for so long that, you know, they just decided to join in too. We think that we're not sure which one attracts which. The storms have been here for much longer than the spirits, so maybe just the energy of the storms draws them here. Or maybe the energy of the storms are so strong that they've created the spirits. I'm not sure. That would be exciting though, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would take some expert research team to figure things out such as this.
I mean, she kind of points over to Nemu as, you know, he's fluttering around, unless you're looking at beetles.
I'm just checking out everything, man.
There's a lot to see. There's a lot of strange creatures here that all seem to... Whenever there's a storm, it's like all of these weird creatures come out of the woodwork.
Yeah, I think he's pretty interested in that kind of stuff. So, like, especially after being in the desert area, you know, he'd be really fascinated with all this life. And everything's not trying to kill him.
Yeah. So she kind of gestures up to Nemu. You know, if he was a little older and stronger, I would almost suggest he should try to go speak to them. But it's a very dangerous storm. That would be quite interesting. Could you imagine if you can speak to those little spirits? What they would have to say, what they've seen. One day. All the knowledge. It's just wonderful.
Fascinating to study, of course.
And if they've been around longer than our written history or told history is, what they would know. What if they're like immortal creatures? If they're made out of pure energy and she'll just rattle on. She'll just rattle on all of these theories. And then suddenly she'll stop because there's another creature she wants to show you in meetup fashion. She's like, oh, mother of all life, look, 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 look. It's a Fenmir. I bet he has a family somewhere close. You drop a picture.
A Fenmir?
Fenmir.
Is that 2 E's?
Yeah, it's just Finmeer. I bet he has a family somewhere close. Oh, there they are. And she like kind of gets down really low, and they're a little bit off in the distance, like 20 feet or so. And she just points down. And you see a couple of like very young Fenmir quietly creeping along the ground, moving towards a group of shrubs and that kind of thing over here in the trees. And quite a few of them are like, it's like blackberry bushes and that kind of thing tangled around other plants. And you see a little quiver within the shrubs as the younglings sneak in. Then suddenly, one of the fern-like plants darts out from under the berry bushes, tripping one of the little Fenmirs with a root as it skitters across the ground. Have y'all ever seen a feather starfish swim?
Mm-mm.
I need everybody to go to this is required. Go to YouTube. Feather starfish swimming. That's what they would look like trying to run across the ground.
Hold on, I have to watch an ad first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That thing's creepy.
Yeah, they're so cool. It's like... brrrr. So this is a fern.
Oh, weird.
Isn't that weird? So that's how his roots are... This little creature's roots are moving. And then, you know, he's got like a fern. All the little fronds hanging out. You just like... They're just bouncing around as he's trying to skitter across...
That's crazy.
Skitter across the ground away from the little baby Fenmirs. The one that this creature had tripped, another one of the little juveniles trips over its brother, and they stop to wrestle, and then the others try to give chase to the plant. It's very deceptively quick and agile for a plant. And the thing seems to be getting away, and then suddenly another adult Fenmir drops down and just bats it. So mom has arrived, and the younglings will dart in and finish their hunt. So not as successful as, you know, their parents would have been. Still successful in the hunt. Those little creatures, the ferns, they destroy everything, really. They've been awful for our vineyards, but the Fenmirs really enjoy hunting them, so that's a nice little touch. They're so fun to watch.
It's the little mouse birds that I'm flying around.
Uh-huh.
Do they speak at all?
Would you like to try to talk with a mouse?
I wanted to just know if they were. I think. Well, I'd be saying stuff like this is so fun and stuff like that. Would they give any kind of response or any kind of like
They
verbal?
would. They would. They would be chittering, and if you laughed, you'd hear like little as they tried to laugh with you. They seem to be able to speak to each other. They don't seem to understand what you're saying, but they'll chitter back. You know, it's like talking to it. It's like talking to a baby. Like,
Yeah.
you know, little
so,
chirps. Yeah.
So I'm going to get a piece of my fried potatoes and just put it on the ground where the Fenrir are. They're so cute. They're very adorable.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
as you like, the little fern plant isn't very big. You know, the meaty part, the root. You know, like if you have like a potato, right? Like the root of it, the inside is only about that big.
Yeah.
So one of the braver young Fenmirs will kind of like slowly crawl over, look back at mom and dad. Mom and dad stare directly at you, Soli.
Yeah.
They're like the size of large house cats. They're
Whoa.
not small, like Maine Coon size cats, like you
Yeah.
know, large house cats. And they kind of just stare directly at you. And the baby stops, looks at you.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to move closer unless you take a small step back.
Oh yeah, I will step away, of course.
Okay, so you step back and the little one reaches up and grabs it and eats it like a raccoon would.
Oh my gosh.
And then it just kind of holds its little hands and it's like, ah.
Watching Soli feed it, just going to speak and inadvertently speak with animals.
Oh
No.
no. I love these characters, guys. They're so fucking good.
Whoa.
Don't worry, little one. She's good people. You don't have to worry.
The little one stops
Whoa.
and looks at you, and slowly you see like their demeanor change. It's like
Yeah.
shock.
Oh,
And they're just like, and then you hear a voice, but not from the little one. We must always be concerned. It's coming from the mother.
Who said that?
You kind of see the mom stand up, like get on all fours, whereas she was just sitting before, and take just a step and a half forward and just kind of tilt her head towards you. There are more predators here now. We must always be concerned.
Or say you speaking?
I'm fairly certain it is I.
Whoa.
Is this telepathy, or are we hearing Jax make noises, or what are we all hearing?
Yeah.
What does Anna? What does it say?
It says you gain the ability to comprehend and verbally communicate with beasts for the duration, which is 10 minutes. The knowledge and awareness of many beasts is limited by their intelligence, but at a minimum, beasts can give you information about nearby locations and monsters, including whatever they can perceive or have perceived within the past day. You might be able to persuade a beast to perform a small favor for you at the GM's discretion. So I think I'm just Harry Pottering it with snakes.
Yeah, and it's a whistling, almost type of sing-songy, because you heard the oh from the little one, and those are the sounds. It's like what?
Oh God, they're whistly, but I'm Jax.
Yeah.
Hell.
yeah. So it's like this beautiful whistle, almost song coming from one side, and then Jax.
It's like somebody farting at a fucking classical concert.
Yeah.
In my head, I think I'm just generally talking. So.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And you know what? Everybody would notice while he's doing this that his orb is pulsing ever so slightly.
Yeah. What?
Just a little bit. Just Jax wouldn't notice.
Okay, so oh, you're like, oh, okay.
So you're saying that there's been an increase of things that can harm you lately?
Harm anyone, not just us.
Are you talking about the things that came last night?
Yes.
Do they affect you guys? So that you're saying they affect you guys too, not just the other beings in the towns?
We stay clear and they stay clear of us, but it still makes it dangerous at night. We cannot get in their way.
I bet. Do you see all these storms come through afterwards?
Storms are wind.
Yeah, but I don't know, like, with your, animalness and oneness with the world, like, have you noticed that these storms follow whenever those scary things come?
The winds go as the winds do. They do not deviate.
Right, yeah. Cool.
To her, it like you just get an idea that she seems very intelligent, but like this certain aspect, she doesn't seem to comprehend what you're trying to say. To her, the storms are. It's like asking if the ground changes. Like the winds, the storms and the winds just are.
Cool. Not sure how I'm understanding you, but good talking with you, and let all your friends know that we're not. You don't need to be scared of us. We're here to help.
I will inform them.
Well,
Enjoy
so
your
it's
travels.
Right. And cute kids.
And you hear, everybody kind of hears a whistle, and then Jax, you hear, "Come now, Rafi." And one of the little kid that was up, hoping for another piece of potato, runs back.
Yeah, I'll give more. And I'm like, I want to do a history check because I love the way they look. They look in their eyes, they look so determined with, determination. It's like, I like them. It's like, yeah, it's so cool. So I'm going to do a history check and see if I've ever seen these before. 12.
12. You have not seen these specific creatures before. You may have seen something similar. You have an idea you may have seen something similar at Wolfden Falls. So it's an old memory, and you just remember being in awe of the creature, whether or not it was the same thing. So the little one grabs another piece of potato, and Jax, you would hear the mom kind of laugh to herself, and little whistles as they talk amongst themselves.
I'm gonna stand up and look at back at everyone and be like,
"That's cool. The critters here can talk."
They can talk.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They were just talking. You didn't hear them?
I didn't know you could speak their language.
Yeah, they know a magic spell that can allow you to do that.
So.
Or I never heard of such thing.
So wait, you guys weren't hearing them talking?
No, you're just making weird sounds.
Yes, you make quite ridiculous noise. I thought it was funny until you say you hear them talk back. Now I'm worried.
I'll be damned. Today's all full of surprises. Last night I'm a bear. Today I'm talking with animals. Well, shit, in my boots.
Mita laughs and just shakes her head.
You're a rat whisperer.
Hey, those
Oh,
were.
don't call them rats. They wouldn't take very kindly to that.
yeah, those were. What are they called again?
Thin mirror.
Mirror. They're majestic.
Those are
creatures.
those are the Finmere.
Sully's getting super pissed.
Yeah.
I think the
"Don't you
little one
go
was
with
taking a
that."
liking to you, Sully.
I
Oh,
take
was-
a few steps back after everyone
Yeah.
is getting angry.
Yeah. Yeah. So angry Soli is scary. Her little cloud red lightning kind of flashes in.
They are not rats. Okay, they don't know that they carry plagues and stuff like that. Look at them, they're so beautiful. They're filled with determination.
They're quite
They're-
smart too.
Yes,
They are little wonderful creatures.
Have you ever heard them talk before?
So I'm just going to assume we're walking and talking.
Yeah.
No, I don't have that ability. I wasn't gifted with such wonderful things. Just the memory.
Have you heard of people talking to them before?
Well, of course.
All right, cool. Good to know.
Okay, Jax. Yeah, okay, I was gonna ask you a question, but I'm not going to. So she just kind of laughs and shakes her head. She's like, Druids are such funny casters. They have the strangest way to see things from a different point of view. Jax, at the word druid, your ball will light up and take that word from what she said. You do not hear the word druid. So you just hear strange way of seeing, these casters have strange ways of seeing the world.
So, would the rest of us, or would I specifically know what a druid is?
For sure, most of you would know what a druid is.
Yeah.
Casters are not rare here. Powerful casters are incredibly rare. Incredibly rare. But it's not uncommon to find somebody with basic abilities like a level 1 of a druid.
yeah. For me, druids are like almost like nature sorcerers.
I want to go around too as I'm flying around. If I see any cool rocks, I'm gonna go down and collect.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have you roll. What's it called? Investigation. Or perception.
Ooh, that's a 7. 10.
Do you not have advantage for sight?
For sight?
Perception by sight?
I don't think so. I'm looking at my racial. Hold on. Flight, silent feathers, size, dark vision.
Interesting. Huh.
Isn't that weird? So they give you dark vision. They give me dark, like, that's another thing with this. Like, they give me dark vision that I can see 120 feet, right? But like,
Whoa.
you would think with that there'd come a little bit more.
Yeah, because Dorus has advantage on perception by smell. I would think you would have the same thing by sight, because don't like Owl, the stat block have perception by sight. Anyway, you would be able to find some really cool shiny rocks if you so choose. Some that have some strange striations of color, maybe some that sparkle. Take your pick of some of the cool stuff that we have found on our hikes. Quite a few rocks around here. Lots of mountains.
Yeah, I think I'm super interested in these ruins. I'm going to be going around with all my archaeology stuff.
Very cool. So as you continue walking, you now see that the orchards of Chris are here. It's just fields, forest, and then orchards. So
Whoa.
it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful orchards cover great areas around Chris.
Whoa.
As you walk through, you see simple wooden homes are scattered within, kind of dotted within the orchards. Closer to the village, the homes become more and more frequent, in small groups, leaving rooms for a few trees or some beautiful shrubs or maybe some berry bushes, that kind of thing. And as you come up into the center of the village, Mita would still kind of be chatting to you about the different homes, and the humans haven't been here for very long, but they've built wonderful things. And the center of the village has a large, cooled building that she explains to you.
Yeah.
It's made out of stone, where almost everything else here is made out of wood. This massive thing, it was built by the Shalebinders. It was enchanted by the sheer Lauren. It keeps everything inside at the perfect temperature, so the fruit doesn't go bad as quickly. It's a beautiful and a wondrous thing that they were able to create together.
Cool.
And then there's a craftsman shop, a shop for herbs and healing, a blacksmith, and then a general store, also a tavern, side by side.
So this is almost a human settlement.
It is a human settlement. You see mostly humans here.
Yeah, to me, it's like we are seeing humans in harmony with their surroundings and not destroying it. It's like, it's weird for me. It's like,
It would be odd for you, for sure. And as she finishes explaining what all the buildings are, you now see that there are multiple people out. It is mid-afternoon at this point. And you do see mostly humans. Every so often, you'll see a couple of the other peoples that from the other towns, the Hedges, the Raccoon folk, that type of thing. And a couple of people kind of wave to Mita, and she waves back, and she'll be like, I'll just be right over there if you have any questions, okay? Just right over there. The center of town has its own version of the fountain from Hafen here, though it seems to have been a natural feature of the landscape. The water is in a large pond, though it is crystal clear, and in the center it seems to be quite deep. A few children out here playing and laughing. Random waves of water crash over them, and the children will shake it off and start laughing and wiping the water from their faces, and they all kind of stand up against the shore and shake off and get ready again, and they begin splashing the water and kicking at it, chanting, I see you not, your waves I see, bring the lot! And then as they finish their chant, you see another wave build from the center, and it just crashes over them again. A couple of them kind of fall down in the water and start laughing. But you have arrived in Chris. Jax, you are surrounded by mostly humans. Soli, you as well.
yeah.
Both of you find this a little bit disconcerting, but
Yeah.
also odd to see the different mixture of races getting along and working together, it seems like here.
When is the meeting? We'll meet you there.
2 hours. Yes. It'll just be right here in the square.
We won't have enough time to make it to those ruins and back, and would we?
You would be able to get there and back, but not really have much time to look around.
I assume it's still like fairly early in the day.
It is
mid-morning.
very early in the day. It's like noon.
Whoa.
We can go afterward.
Yeah. Is there like a street market kind of thing here, or is it like?
It's not laid out like Hafen is, but there is a general store that you see named Tomorrow's Needs, but it's in a combination. It's like a massive building, and one side is Tomorrow's Needs, and the other side is called Today's Wants. So you have the grocery store, or like the general store, which is Tomorrow's Needs, and Today's Wants is the tavern / eatery.
Whoa. It's pretty cool.
So you can go into anything that you wish to see. There's
I'll
also
go
a
to
craftsman area.
General stores.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jax, How is Jax doing?
He's kind of withdrawn a little bit because even though this is what he was searching for, having the last few hours of what he's been through, he's kind of like hesitant to really just like be like, oh, my people, because he doesn't know if this even is his people.
Right, of course. So Jax, if you kind of just retreat and find, a shadow of a tree, you'll see the kids continuing to chant and bring forth these waves. And anybody else outside, Nemu, depending on what you're doing, the rain does begin to fall. It's not a lot of rain, but the drops are big and heavy.
I think I'd stay out there and take a little shower.
Okay.
In the
So Nemu, Jax are outside. Soli, you're in the store. Darus.
My passive insight's 15. Would I notice that Jax is feeling out of place, maybe? Or do I need to roll for it?
No, the reason I say no is because that's your thing. That's Darus's thing, is to understand what is going on, especially in the people that are directly around him and that he affects him. So I would say you would see that he's a little timid.
Mr. Jax, please come. I want to look at big building with stone. It sounds interesting. That keeps things cold. You come too, yes?
Yeah, all right. I'll follow you.
As we walk over there, I want to ask him about his talk with the little animals.
Okay.
All these animals, they tell you anything important? What they say? Anything good?
Apparently, the attacks that kind of happen from those creatures at night, well, it's not that they don't attack the animals, but the animals are aware of them, and they know to avoid them, like a mutual respect type thing. Stay out of my way, and I'll stay out of yours.
This is quite common for animals to have good insight into things like this.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'd never talked with an animal before. But then again, I've been talking with you guys too. Like, there's a difference. You guys are intelligent.
I was just telling
one
Tiffany
seemed to
about
be intelligent, but only I could hear it, so I don't know if that's less intelligent or equal. It's all confusing.
after I'm done taking my little shower, I'll come back in with a.
I have something before you leave.
Okay, all right, cool.
Well, Ralio's very, very an interesting place. Always something new and different to see or learn.
Yeah, you're telling me.
And I will continue as we get to the building, just checking out the building's architecture, looking for any markings, things like that.
Okay. Eoway.
I'm going to be, before the storm hits, I'm going to be inside watching the clouds.
Okay.
And then once it starts, it's like, these idiots are going to get, something bad's going to happen out there.
So would you have gone to the general store with Soli?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm getting freezing too from Discord.
Oh,
Every so often it just freezes. It's not super bad. It's just it's everybody. It's not one person.
okay.
So you run into the store with Soli. I'm gonna get Nemu real quick, because he's outside playing in the rain.
Yeah.
So Nemu, as you're, standing around and just absorbing some of the water and making sure it's getting through all your feathers, the children start squealing with delight as the rain begins. And you kind of see them putting their arm over their eyes, trying to keep the water from hitting their eyes, and just waiting and looking at this pond in the center. And as the rain begins to get a little heavier, you see it begin to swirl.
The pond.
The water in the pond. The water in the pond begins to swirl, and then faster and faster towards the center, and then suddenly, a spout comes up, and it's like a little water spout, and it just kind of expands every so often and absorbs some of the rain, and comes back and just spins around itself, shrinking and then growing. It is an incredible sight and absolutely beautiful.
Okay, so before I see that, like with the kids, if I see them like holding the hands over their eyes, just take your hand away and close your eyes and let the rain hit your face. It's refreshing.
Just wait. You're gonna see. You'll see.
Okay.
And then,
I think he'd just be like, "Wow, what was that?"
I see you not, until it rains. And then we see.
Do you have a name for it?
Now, we tried to give it a name, but our parents say that we can't name it.
Do they have a reason to not name?
No.
Does it seem like they're afraid of it?
No, we play all the time. You should play with us.
I would like that.
Once it's done dancing.
Sure.
New friend.
New friend.
I'm Seat.
I'm Nemu.
It's nice to meet you, Nemu.
I'm not used to seeing all this rain. I'm from the desert. It's dry.
Well, we have lots, and you should play.
Yes, I will.
So he'll just grab your wing and kind of splash around on the shore until suddenly it seems like this beautiful whirlwind vortex of water swells and the top like flutes out, and then it slowly comes down, almost like you know how you have a fountain and it kind of looks like a little bowl of water coming down, and then crashes across the shore and just soaks everyone there, and the kids begin to laugh and play again, though they don't chant again. The I see you not, your waves I bring, or the waves I see bring the lot. They seem to have stopped the chant when it started raining. So you are more than welcome to play for as long as you want. Solely.
What? Can you?
He's typing.
As this is happening, I'm just gonna be looking out the window, like Nemu and the kids are fighting off a weather spirit.
Oh, solely. So you like. It's so funny. The owl has advantage on perception checks while they rely on hearing or sight. Thank you, Silas.
Where's that?
That's from the owl stat block.
It's not in the Owl Inn. The Owl Inn has 120-foot dark vision, but
Yeah.
advantages.
I'd rather have that than this fucking dark vision. They give everybody fucking dark vision. It's not special.
You are more than welcome to have advantage on perception checks that rely on your hearing or sight.
Yeah, I think I should.
Go for it.
Fucking bastard.
So as Ioe is saying that, Soli, you turn to the window and you're watching this like beautiful water vortex in the center of the town square.
Yeah.
As Ioe's like almost shaking with nerves and fear of this storm.
Oh, you're like the water.
I don't mind the water, it's just the things that come with it.
Oh, of course. Floods.
What are floods?
Oh, that's when. That's when there's too much water for the ground to absorb, so it just accumulates, and it just it destroys everything. If it doesn't get absorbed into the soil, it just destroys everything. The rivers, they become out of control, and destroy homes, destroy everything on its path. Can be very dangerous.
Fear increased.
That's fun.
So I don't want to interrupt you, Ioe. I'm sorry if you had something else to say.
No, I'm good.
So the general store is just that. It is a general store.
Yeah.
You see quite a few of the fruits, though not as many as you would expect, being surrounded by orchards and vineyards. But everything there seems to be incredibly fresh. And then, random necessary stuff that you would need: pots, pans, cups, pitchers, any, super simple household item. Rope, anything that you would find, in what you would start out with. That kind of stuff would be here. The lady she has an apron on. Just human woman. Very plain looking. Brown hair, kind of tied back in a loose ponytail. Constantly moving hair out of her face. She's talking to another couple that are in there right now, and they just seem to be talking about the rains and, how nice it is to see one of the big storms come through. Though it rains here all the time, they love the big storms because it's fun. She just kind of looks over at you two as y'all are looking out the window. Welcome in. Can I help you with something?
Well, we're visitors, so I've never been here. So
Well, that's exciting. How about you've never been to Chris, or you've never been to Mason? What?
Well, we've never been in this region before, so it's like, tell us, like, what's your what do you recommend, or like anything special?
1 second. I have just the thing. And she'll get like a little basket, and she'll just run from little crate to little crate, picking the best fruits out of every bin. And then she'll go over to where the breads are and grab what seems to be just a loaf of dark rye. But as she gets closer, you see bits and pieces of different nuts and fruits in the bread itself.
Yeah.
And then she'll grab some cheese and just make a massive basket. You just have to try a bit of everything.
Of course.
I wouldn't choose to live anywhere else. Honestly, it's just beautiful here.
You're very kind. Seems like everybody here takes care of the dead, which is really, really good to see.
It's our home. Of course we do.
Yeah. And I guess hearing that, I guess I don't know, I feel like very bittersweet seeing that.
Yeah, for sure.
Over here it's really good, but over there it's like nothing. I don't know if it will be like that, but
Good humans and bad humans. Well, my name is Gladys.
nice to meet you, Gladys. I'm Soli.
Soli, nice to meet you. And
I'm Yao.
you? What?
My name is Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yes, it is a bit difficult to pronounce. I had some difficulty the first time too. It's okay. It's okay.
It's an interesting name. I've never heard of such a name. Is it common with your peoples?
I only know one person. So, I think so.
It's very unique. I like it. Is there anything I can get for you?
Well, the fruit here has been magical so far, so I'll take one and eat it.
Okay. Whatever you pick, it's delicious. You haven't had a piece of fruit, a vegetable, or anything here that didn't taste exactly like you expected it, just better. Like what Mita said about the storms bringing everything that this land needs to grow amazing crops seems to be very much true.
Well, how much do I owe you, Gladys?
2 silver.
2 silver.
Oh, sure. I'll put a silver in.
I'll give her 1 gold.
That's really not necessary.
Oh, please take it. It's very nice to see other humans.
She kind of gets a little nervous. And so she grabs a couple of other things from the shelf, like real quick, just like all of these different things that are very local. And she fills a bag and she hands them to you. It's just more things for you to try.
Thank you. I hope this town will continue to thrive.
It is. Thank you.
Thanks.
Do Jackson Dorus. So if you would have been interested as the kids started like getting really, really excited and squealing, you could have turned around and seen the vortex as well. I don't know what you would be focused on, but as you go to this building, Dorus, you're looking for like the architecture, any kind of markings on it. The architecture is very, very plain. It's just a large, what seems to be rectangle. It's a couple of stories. There's no ornamentation on it whatsoever. As you get closer, you notice there is a very specific reason for it. It is because they have etched symbols on the outside of the building in a very specific way to where they're always touching and linked. And if there would have been any ornamentation on it, then it would have broken that circle. And so it circles around the base and then up the sides along the corners. And roll Arcana for me.
4 total.
4 total. You recognize the feel of the spell. It wouldn't be hard to know. It's any kind of spell that does cold damage. And it just seems to be the same spell with a couple of different ones that you don't recognize, but all interlinked around the building itself. Jax, any kind of interest you have in the building?
Just kind of tagging along with Doris, so if he's taking an interest in anything, then I'll kind of pay attention to it with him.
Yeah, is the building like is there people in the building, or is it closed? Is there doors?
So there would be excuse me, a couple of double doors, massive barn doors, where the script goes up and around, and it's wide enough for 2 carts side by side. This building is quite large, and at this very moment, the doors seem to be open, but not by much. And it doesn't have any kind. There's nobody watching the building, from what you can tell on the outside. There are not any windows that you can see either, whether it's for insulation or because they just don't need windows in it. That's up for you to decide. But if you peek in the door, you would see a few people inside, kind of, making sure crates are stacked properly, and just lining everything up, taking things off carts, loading up a cart, and you see somebody look over to the door. They're like, hey, make sure the door stays shut. We're going to let out the air. So, and then they would look over and see you and kind of wave. Do you need to come in?
No, apologies. It's just beginning to rain. We were looking for a bit of shelter. I shut the door for you, though. It's okay.
Thank you very much.
And I pull the door shut.
Okay.
Can I put my my snout, my trunk in there while I'm talking to them? Like wave with my trunk kind of thing? I just want to feel if the air is noticeably colder.
Much colder.
Got it.
Seems to be a cool 38 degrees. Not that you would know.
Wow, that's really cold.
But it's pretty cold. Or whatever you're supposed to keep fruit at for longevity.
I relay that to Jax.
Okay.
It's very cold in there. I think it's some sort of magical inscription on building that keeps it cold inside.
Right. Well, why did we walk over here then if we didn't want to go inside?
Well, if you want to talk to them, we can go in. I did not want to interrupt them and lose all their cool air,
Yeah, but they invited us in.
Okay, well, let's go in. And he pushes the door back open, walks in.
So on that note, we're going to take a quick break. As we're all at a good pause
I was just
point.
trying to get out the rain,
Yeah.
really. But...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll be back in 10-ish. Nope,
Cool.
wrong button. That button.
Have to get away from the weird conversations.
Super Ultra Max.
Yes, we have to get away from the old weird conversations
next
by
iPhone.
having fake conversations.
iPhone
What fake
14
character?
Super Ultra Max.
What was that with the Ultra Max?
That's your next iPhone.
Oh my gosh.
Pro Max. It's a Pro.
Yeah.
It's a Pro Max Z.
See, either you're Pro Max or you're just not really, or you're just a basic bitch Pro.
Yeah.
You know, you're either Pro or you're Pro Max, and if you're just Pro, then you're a basic bitch. Like me, I've got a Pro. I wasn't gonna spend the extra $200 or $300. Fuck that. It's too much money.
But it doesn't mean anything. It's literally all marketing.
I know. No, it's got a bigger screen. Bigger screen. That makes it bad.
It's a maxed
But just
out
because it has a
fucking
bigger screen
Pro.
doesn't make it different from a normal iPhone. It just has a bigger screen. It's the same iPhone.
Yeah.
Well, you know, my old ass needs big screens. I'm just saying.
You could just
So
call
sorry.
it an iPhone 6-inch or iPhone 7-inch or whatever the next thing is.
My
I like
iPhone's
how you
bigger
went
than your
live and
iPhone.
we still haven't went away from this conversation.
You're gonna have dick measuring contests with your iPhone. I've got the iPhone 8-inch. Yours is probably 4-inch.
Mine's the 7-inch. I got the average basic bitch. 5-inch. Whatever the fuck it is now, I don't know. Amelia.
I've got the porn star iPhone 12-inch.
Have you guys checked out my iPad yet?
Look at the heft of this bitch.
This thing's girthy as fuck.
Gotta have a backpack to carry your phone, but it's worth it.
So good.
Oh my god. Gives a whole nother fucking meaning to phone condom.
Oh man. Oh, so good.
Okay, we're good. Ugh.
Are we good now?
Yeah, totally.
So let's go back to having our fake conversations with our fake characters.
Yes. Okay.
Why do our fake conversations have more meaning than our real ones?
Because we're fucking nerds.
We are
That's what-
nerds. That is why. Oh, it's so good.
We
that-
take our fake stuff more seriously than our real stuff.
As you
Yeah.
should.
Yes.
In the end, it really has more meaning.
Yeah.
Gonna get fucking philosophical. Philosophical.
Philosophical. The philosophize?
It is philosophize. It was like falafel.
Falafel?
Okay, I'm good. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. I haven't had any sleep, and my social media is way overboard. I did a lot of talking today. Usually, I just save all my talking all week up for you guys.
I want to see a falafel sizer NPC.
Falafel sizer. I gotta write this down because it needs to
You
be a
should.
food NPC. Hold on. Where's my Avon Vaughn random notes?
It's like a waffle maker that talks philosophy.
Falafel.
We're gonna pay him to follow us around everywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
The falafel.
So, Jackson Doros, you dart back into the building, close the door behind you, I hope. And you just kind of get a few waves as everybody's pretty busy working right now. Somebody kind of yells over, "Do you need a crate of anything?"
Oh no, is it okay if we come inside for a moment?
Of course. I mean, you might overhear our secret plans of domination, but
Now we definitely come inside.
If you hear anything, you know, domination-y, we'll have to kill you by fruit. And everybody just starts laughing.
You're welcome to try.
Be a messy way to go and a really bad waste of fruit. Just saying.
Do we notice the rain like spout thing before we come in at all, or no?
Yeah, of course. You can. I mean, you would hear like the squeals of children, and I would assume, you know, the squeals of gleeful children and the squeals of "I'm gonna fucking die" children are very similar. So you may have looked back and seen, you know, them playing and watching this thing.
Looks like their magic fountain is better in this town.
Yeah, we seem to enjoy it. It's quite a bit of fun. You know, even we'll get in on the weekends.
Can you tell about the history of this building? It's quite unique in its structure and design.
Oh yeah, I mean, when we got here and after we had finally settled in, we brought some of the seeds and fruit from Phenovis, and we found that they did really, really well here. So well, in fact, that we couldn't store the fruit before it would go bad, and there's only so many beverages of the alcohol type that you can make, and just you still have fruit that was going bad. So the shale binders came down, and with the sheer Lauren, 2 of the 3, and raided this building to make sure that we could distribute all the fruit before it went bad. Sometimes some still goes bad, but it lasts a little bit longer this way.
Where are the share binders from? They're like from somewhere in Valius?
Oh, the shell. I'm sorry. Yes.
Shale binders.
The shell binders are one of the 3. They are in the far northeast corner of the valley here. The Cher Loren are more towards the central northwest. And they, you know, all the 3 work together to create some interesting things, or just, you know, work together for everything that we do here. But they came and made this building for us.
Sounds great. It's bloody cold in here, though. I think we need to leave.
All right, I'm coming for you, and
I was just curious why you want to come over here. Didn't know it would be this freaking cold. So, yeah, I'm over it.
well, thank you for your time. Sorry to interrupt your important work in here. We can
Enjoy
talk
your
after
fruit,
we
get
leave about
feeling
our
toes.
death and dealing more.
Yeah, super, super important brooding work. Y'all have a great day. There's coats over there if you want to hang out.
Yeah, except we were just in the rain and now my hair's kind of freezing, so I'd rather just get out of here.
Yeah, maybe you could turn to bear though. Bears might like. Just kidding. I'm kidding. Let's go.
All right. Okay.
So you run out. Now you're cold. You were wet. Now you're wet and cold. And then you went back out in the rain, which is the weather's beautiful. It's temperate. You know, high 70s, low 80s. So Jack's like trying to warm up in rain, which, you know, rarely makes you warm. So you can join everybody. You would still see Nemu playing with the kids. So you can join Soli and Ioe in the general store. Grab Nemu on your way if you want.
Hey, Nemu.
Yeah? You should come play.
Yeah, maybe some other time.
Turn into that big furry thing you turned into, and then come play with us.
Damn it, that's 2 of you now. I don't know how I did it.
Well, can I share a secret with you?
All right.
My magic is fucked up too. Maybe we can both fix ours together.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe someone in this town knows something about humans turning into animals. I don't really know. But
I mean,
what do you mean your magic's fucked up though?
well, sometimes when I cast spells, it does something unexpected.
Is that like when you almost impaled us in the in-between place?
Well, that's just me not being good at casting spells.
No.
That's different.
That kind of makes me nervous, but it also is kind of endearing in the same light.
Well, I don't know if it should make you any more nervous than turning into a random creature and talking to animals.
Y'all can have arrived at the to the general store by now. Everything's right there.
I mean,
Right.
What happens if you turn into something that likes eating owls?
Well, I mean, considering I still had some wits about me because I
So you
climbed
say.
into a bed, I mean, I don't think I'd try to hurt you, to be honest.
I don't think so either. I just think it's funny.
So, like, as you're walking in the building and you say something that eats owls, or turn into something that eats owls, the lady who was, like, talking with Soli and Ioe, just kind of like, friends of yours?
They are. Yeah, we're a little group, just adventurers, I guess you can call us.
How
Did
exciting.
you kill that water spirit?
What?
I saw you fighting outside.
Oh, talking to Nemu. Fighting
Yeah.
about water spirit.
Not fighting, we were playing.
This place is weird.
It's refreshing. We haven't seen water most of our lives. It's nice to play in it and be cool for once.
I cannot argue with that.
I sometimes thought as I was sleeping that I'd be turned into food just because it was so hard. Somehow I would cook.
So Soli's just sitting there, like, popping berries and different types of fruit and pieces of bread and cheese out of this basket. So it's a fairly large basket. Y'all are more than welcome to partake. However, there is a large double door it's just a double door opening that goes into the tavern if y'all want to take a break and eat. Whatever it is that you want to do, or just eat from the fruits, berries, a few nuts. And Soli, if you open the bag, you'll see some different seasonings, even some dried flowers, like loose leaf tea with dried flowers and stuff in it.
Yeah.
Just kind of a sampling of stuff from the valley here.
Very cool.
Yeah. So just a little bit of specialness. Right now for lunch, there's a wonderful stew being served. If you want some, with some basic bitch like sourdough bread and some kind of like fruity alcoholic beverage.
All right, I'll have both.
Okay. So it is 3 silver a piece if you want to grab lunch, or just eat out of the basket if you don't want to spend any gold. I know one of them is super gassy. I'm getting like fucking gassed out of this room right now.
Yeah, I'll just have some of the fruit that I kept from breakfast and
Okay.
like a piece of bread or something from the basket.
Okay. The bread is a dark rye kind of, but it's very sweet and sweetened with molasses, and it has bits of different types of nuts and fruit. It's really good. It's like a whole meal just in that bread. So as you wait, where
Is there an inn anywhere? No.
there doesn't seem to be an inn here.
Jax, you were interested in seeing more humans. Is there anyone you want to talk to here?
Well, actually, I was kind of thinking, I don't know if I've been here before, or like been around these people before. Maybe without being too blatant, you guys could find out if anybody recognizes me.
Without being too blatant, you mean just asking somebody.
Yeah, like, don't be like, hey, does he look familiar? Like, I don't know, try to be fancy talking about it.
Oh, I'm not good with fancy talking. I just asked somebody, does he look familiar? Does he have a family here? Anybody that looks like him? That's all I talk. When fun, just go straight to the point.
I think I know what you mean. I'm gonna go to the bartender.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God.
And then, do you know this man? And I point directly to him.
So, the bartender at Today's Once kind of just looks at you, looks over to Jax. I've never seen him before. Am I supposed to know him?
No. I was just wondering if you did.
Okay. I had heard that there was a group coming in with Bayanti and Mita, but
Yeah, that's us.
I don't know any of you personally. Glad to have you though.
Well, I'll have a drink.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Whatever
Anything specific? We have some seasonal wines that are really good.
Oh man. Oh, we have the seasonal wines.
Oh, I'll order the
I
same.
don't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
How do you drink something out of a glass as a bird?
You have hands.
I know, but I'm talking the mouth situation.
I don't know. That's a good question.
That is not at all what you think it looked like, Chad.
So good. It's like those little birds, you know, that you just like tip
Oh,
down.
a straw. I could get a straw, mate.
Just use,
You want
use your beak as a straw.
I'm just gonna ask for a straw.
Okay. Sure. Reed straw. You got it.
Reed straw.
Are you old enough to drink alcohol?
No, I'm just drinking like juice or something.
Okay.
I'd ask for juice.
Okay. You get juice. Anybody for the seasonal wine? It's going to be a very strange mixture. It's very herbal, which is different.
And you tell me, what the fuck are the alcohol laws in your world?
I mean, the bartender would question if you were old enough to drink.
No. That's why I would just order.
Okay. So it's a very herby berry wine. It's not grape. It's berry. It's different. I mean, for those who would enjoy herbs, it would be really good. So Mita rushes in while everybody's eating, you know, pulled over her head, shakes it back. Hiya. Well, hi everybody. We everybody's here. It's just we have about 10 more minutes on the storm. So they're all just kind of hanging out at Arthian's house. But
Oh, you don't want to join us? We got delicious fruit basket from the grocery store.
ooh, have you tried the bread yet? This is my favorite. It's so
Yeah.
good.
It's really good.
So she'll sit down and munch with you while the storm outside kind of dies down.
I want to approach either the waitress or the person who looks like they own the place.
Okay, either or. The
Because they're really busy.
it wouldn't be very busy. I mean, it's lunchtime, but the rain came at lunch, so there weren't a lot of people that crowded in here. Most everybody was at work when it started raining, so they probably just ate whatever they could while they were there. The waitress is a very young, well, I say young to me. She's in her early 20s. She's got like a kind of rusty brown hair, just braided off to the side, headband on to hold her hair back as she's just rushing around. One thing you do notice though is she has the strangest dark blue, almost violet eyes. And she just kind of stops by. What can I do for you?
Howdy do, ma'am. I was just wondering if I could ask you a quick question or two if you have the time.
Sure.
Have you seen many areas where humans have gathered together?
Well, I've been here in Mazent for most of my life. Well, the end half anyway. But we came in here. There came through here. There were some that came through in other parts and made their way here. From what I understand, outside of Mazent, there are some settlements. But I've never left the Hollow.
Gotcha. Have you ever heard the term displacements?
Yes.
What context is that used for people like us?
It's a derogatory term. Used by those from Avonvon, for those of us that came here uninvited.
I see.
And also
Have you-
used for the area where they sent everybody.
Where who sent what now?
Where the she just tries not to say anything like crass. Where the naturals send humans.
they send all the humans to a single place, or at least a single location?
There's a couple of them, from my understanding.
I mean, I hate to pry, but do you happen to know the name of those places, or at least the
don't.
general area?
I've never been out of Maze End. I'm sorry. I know
No, it's okay.
There's supposed to be some around the main cities, you know, in the least desired areas, from what I understand.
Can I overhear this? Am I able to like? Okay, so I basically so I was running out of drink, so good excuse. So I'll go over there. So Jax, you're asking about the displacements.
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard of them.
Apparently, it's not a nice term for humans.
Well, yeah, it isn't.
Actually, I got a random question for you. Since you've been here your whole life, have you ever heard of this place affecting humans and turning them into animals?
No, I mean, I've heard of a druid. For me, they've always been like, for me, they're like natural. Well,
You just like, you heard him called, and then he kept going like,
Oh.
what's up with your, why'd you stop like halfway through what you're saying?
I didn't stop. Wait, hold on. I said that I've heard of druids.
You heard of what?
Are you?
It's trying to block the word. Jax, if you
Okay,
want to hear the word, you can.
A druid.
I'm gonna try to hear it.
Druid.
Okay.
You know, like a natural sorcerer. To me, they're like natural sorcerers. They interact with nature.
I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
What?
Oh, a 7.
Oh my gosh.
As Soli continues to speak, suddenly the crackling of your orb blends with her voice, and you hear like her voice is trying to come through with the sound of the crackling. You hear the word druid, but it's not in Soli's voice. Druid would make sense. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Bring them, and then you start hearing Soli's voice.
Are you alright? You seem out of. It's like you're in a different plane. I mean, that's what I've heard about. You know, to me they're like natural sorcerers. They interact with nature. But the displacements, I mean, from what I've heard, was that it's like this is a place designated for refugees. I mean, that's what, you know, my mom said, well, they're refugees. I mean, like, so the government created the displacements for them. But I guess it isn't, you know, habitable, you know, not really the best living conditions. So they moved here to Bailey Fields, well, not here, but in my home. And I mean, everything would have gone well if, you know, we could have, you know, cooperated, but it didn't go that way. So everything went down south, and then, you know, with my uncle, and his kind of disappearing, and made things worse. So, yeah, it's not really the best situation. But that's what I know from, you know, humans in my area, at least. They're not really that kind, and they don't really like me at all, because I'm a human who doesn't live with other humans. So, yeah. I mean, my whole life, I've always been looked at weird by people outside my community in Antora. You know, I was looked at the weird one, you know, with this pink hair, you know, not looking like them. And I got used to it, but now you got humans that look like me, and they pretty much hate me. So, very strange being here where they, it's just here things are just peaceful. So it's very strange for me to see this.
Well, I'm glad that you're sharing that information with me, and sorry to hear about your uncle. That sucks. But
It does. That's
maybe if people are being taken from these displacement camps, and maybe he got mixed in with the wrong bit of people. I
don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's just the whole Keynesian race just disappeared. An entire population just vanished into thin air with no explanation.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up, but
it is.
I mean, as long as we're grouped up on this crazy trip of ours, if I'll help out any way I can, if I can even make sense of what's going on with myself.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see that these places like this, where humans and the residents of this planet or place can coexist. It's nice. It's a little less overwhelming than what we've seen so far.
Yeah. What does the bartender think of this, or the waitress?
She would just be being quiet.
Yeah.
She would just be kind of having like a small sad smile on her face, hearing your story, because everybody here would know about the Keenson.
Yeah.
You know, they were they traveled quite frequently here from what you've heard. So, and they've heard the stories of the displacements. Some people came here instead. They just made their way into the mountain and found their way here. So I don't want to interrupt anybody, of course. But if anybody else has any comments or questions?
I'm excited to go to the ruins.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to go to the ruins because I got my little rock pick out and my
So Nemu's just,
charcoal pencils, and
sitting at the table, like making sure, like lining everything up, making sure he's got his paper and his chalk to do the chalk drawings or the chalk rubbings and everything. That's illegal here.
I think our little friend over there is ready for the ruins. We best be hitting the road.
Yes, I'm ready too.
Thank you. We have to go to the meeting first, or
the meeting is very soon.
The meeting.
Yeah. So we can rush through the meeting. There's really nothing.
Nemu's so disappointed.
Yeah, there's really nothing that
he has nothing to do. He doesn't want to listen to a bunch of adults talk about random shit.
And that's what it is. You have you've already met Mita, obviously. So she's part of the collective. You've met Fayanti, he's part of the collective. Vantha, you haven't met yet. It's a Vulpin. You would meet all these people, and you'll have this information. Constanestius is a raccoon folk who's part of it, and then Arthian is the human that's part of the collective. And they will be talking about not what you would expect, which would be, harvesting and that kind of thing. They briefly go over it, specifically the human, Arthian. He seems to be in charge of analytics and making, planning and getting everything lined up for all the deliveries across Maze End. But the majority of what they're talking about are the attacks. How many people they've lost, trying to find out if there's any more afflicted. There isn't. And then Fayanti will explain what happened to you guys. If you all have any more input besides what he says, you're more than welcome to, but they won't know anything more than what Fayanti has already told you as far as the causal what y'all are trying to link as far as a cause and effect with the creatures from the Shatter. So if there's nothing that y'all want to say during this meeting besides just giving your side of the story, then we can move on to the ruins.
We probably would have mentioned that we were told we're supposed to be pilgrims.
And they would say that's pretty much that's generally what comes here. But there are times of the year where the pilgrimages come, and they probably would have questioned that no matter what. There would be some questions about like who told you, and I don't know if y'all would tell them about Zane and CR Santi. Um,
I don't know if I think about it just because I'm so excited to hit the.
I would say just like a firefly told us.
Firefly. Okay.
A talkative firefly.
A bird.
They won't question you further. These people, they do seem, they know you're holding back, but from what they can tell, you're not a threat. And so far, since you've entered this valley, you haven't been alone. They don't seem too concerned. But Mita will offer her assistance in going to the ruins, as she holds knowledge. If you would like to bring Mita.
Yeah, I think so. Somebody that knows what we're looking at.
So, go ahead, baby. In Mita way, she's chatting and chatting. She's always like, look, 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 look. Oh, look over there, look over there, look over there. She's pointing out all these like cool little creatures and that kind of thing. Nothing that's like, ooh, that's different. You know, you see these massive butterflies that are furry, kind of like a post-storm going around and grabbing some of the little dewdrops on leaves, those kinds of things. And then she, on her way to the ruins, she's explaining what she knows about them and how it's pretty dilapidated. There's a few stones here and there, but mostly it's covered in dirt, and the soil even, you know, is starting to, or has sprouted plants, and it's overgrown, what they can see. There are caves within the walls that may once have been passages into a greater part of maybe a building that was there, but people who have tried to go in and explore, they don't get far. Everything's caved in. There's really nothing to see. And there's been some excavation by the council. Dorus tried to excavate some of it to search for anything that, you know, those of Maze and Hollow didn't find, and they came up pretty much empty-handed. It seemed that the entire mountain kind of just went behind whatever these openings are in the face of it. So right before you get there, of course, she's like, look, oh, you've got to see this, you've got to see this. Do you hear that? Listen. And you hear like a little, like these little pops. Look around for little globs of dirt flying. Quickly, quickly. So as everybody looks around, fuck off, fly. So like, everybody roll investigation for me, just for the funs.
Just for the.
Just for the funs. 6.
7.
8.
Ooh, 23.
Whoa.
Jesus. 16 for Nemu. So Nemu and Dorus, you're following this pop, and Nemo's flying over, and he's like, he points it over, or he calls down to you, Dorus, just as you're watching these, like, you're just kind of watching these little blobs of wet dirt fly up. And Mita runs over as everybody's starting to join where y'all found it. She's like, just wait, just wait, just wait. You gotta see this, you've gotta see this. It's so exciting. And as you do, it's almost like a crawdad coming up out of the dirt, as it, like, it's just flinging dirt out, trying to get out, and a lizard starts to emerge. Its head is wide and armored, though it's slick at the same time. It's like an armadillo lizard, and as it continues to come out, it's just flinging dirt out of its way with its nose, with its claws, and it just continues to come out and continues. This lizard is like 6 foot long, armored head to tip of tail. The tip of its tail almost looks like a maul. It's just armored, and then it has these little spikes that come out. And as it crawls out, it kind of shakes all the mud off. And it looks over to everybody like, what the fuck are you doing here? This is my place. And just kind of begins to walk off into the area where the ruins are. I don't even know what these things are called. They're just, I've only seen them a handful of times. Well, maybe a dozen, but they only come out right after storms, and nobody comes out here. But they're only out here. Aren't they cool?
They are unique.
Very unique.
I don't know if I should chase after it. 6 feet long.
It's a big lizard.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't see any teeth. It's got a wide head, but it's like shoveling dirt.
How close did I get to it?
I would have said like she wouldn't have I'll get closer than like 10 feet.
I give it a good healthy sniff with my trunk.
Yeah. It smells like good soil and worms.
As long as it doesn't smell like death or undead stuff or something.
No.
Hey, Yahweh.
No, I do not know this.
Oh, I was wondering if it was your cousin. You're starting to know me.
It's so good. I love it. So you now see like this whole area is quite overgrown. There's tall grasses and shrubs and wild berries and trees that just soar into the air. And as you kind of break free of some of the trees, she's like, well, here we are. You can't quite see the side of the mountain, though you do see the peak above the trees. And she just kind of stomps her foot a little bit. This is where you can at least start to see the ruins. And you look down.
I'm just gonna take off and start looking at.
Okay, so Nemu bolts straight in, and you can now see, kind of peeking through some of the soil, what looks like may once have been some kind of brickwork for a road. It's not brickwork like you would expect. Though those who use or study magic would notice that versus being created by hand with tools, this was magically created. It's perfectly smooth. There is some pitting, but naturally from the stone. But there's no marks or anything that you could tell on this one. If you continue following Nemu in, every so often you'll see another area of these strange, they're large, pavers, kind of peek through. A few of them being pushed up from tree roots. Some of them, wrapped within the trees themselves as the roots have come up. And you finally come around and get clear of some of the underbrush. And in front of you, you see what you assume are parts of an old town or settlement, as Mita called it. Though it's the trees and the plants here have grown so much that if you weren't looking for it, you wouldn't have even seen it. There's a few what may have been support pillars, though they're not more than 8 feet tall. Most of them just, if you looked really closely, you'd be able to see a few more. I need everybody to make an investigation check for me as we make our way through.
Yeah.
And tell me what
text.
You're looking for text.
I am looking. Let's see. What would I be looking? I think I'll just look for anything cool.
Anything
Unusual.
cool? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm distracted.
Okay.
Can't think of anything that I would be smelling, so just kind of
Alright.
regular.
I rolled an 8.
8. 12?
12, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, investigation. What did you get, Sully?
Yeah, 13. So
13.
interesting structures.
Doing great here.
Yeah, we're
13.
doing fantastic.
13 is the highest. Cool.
Whoa.
Okay. So as you make your way in, it's a lot of the same. Most of the stuff here, it could be just large parts of pillars that were thrust up by dirt and roots. Everything's twisted, and you see some natural boulders from the mountain itself mixed within, and it's kind of hard to tell what would be people's made. I don't fucking know. You can't say creature made because that's just fucking weird. And what is a natural part of the landscape? Mita will kind of just chit and chat about what she sees and what they've thought might be made by, arcane hands or any hands versus a natural one. And sometimes you're like, sometimes you're like, that might be, a created item. Until the trees and the shrubs break away. And this area, though there are small shrubs and small plants, it doesn't seem that the trees can easily take root. This area is fairly wide up against the side of the mountain, not so deep. If we want to see it in person, I know we don't have a lot of time, but we can get into Tailspire. Now, there's going to be a lot more debris and that kind of thing than you can see in Tailspire. I'm loading, I'm sorry. If you're trying to get in, you're beat me.
Yeah, me too.
I like the one channel you named. Fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off means don't fucking look. You like that? Okay.
I take it we're supposed to go to Ruin too?
I should be able to touch everybody. So let me get you past the break in the trees. Oh, come on. You asshole. Why isn't it picking it up? Yeah. I should have brought everybody there. If you're not there, I'll...
Okay.
Why isn't
These
it
are the
showing
ruins
it?
that were. Interesting.
Get it to come up? Alright, so I'm gonna move y'all up a little bit. You would have broken through the... So...
Did you place our things down?
Yeah, double click on your name on the left and you should be able to click to it. You know?
I cannot see myself.
Yeah, I don't see myself either.
I don't see myself either, too. I see everybody else, but not me.
I don't see anyone.
Oh,
Yeah,
whoa.
same.
Okay. No permission.
Oh,
Oh, there's people.
yeah. There's me. Okay.
This shouldn't be this.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Should be good, right? So like some of these stones are thrust up from the geological changes that have happened in this area, but otherwise it's pretty much what you see. There doesn't seem to be like any large buildings or any main structures that have lasted through the storms that roll through here. And the soil here doesn't seem to be growing for whatever reason. If anybody is proficient in nature, you can make a nature check. I'm gonna
have
try
survival.
and do this.
13.
13. Oh yeah, you would be specific in nature. I'm sorry, hold on one second. Tailspire. It's not capturing Tailspire. I don't know how to fix this.
Does survival count at all?
No, because you're from the desert.
Yeah.
So you just your innate knowledge of oh shit. Okay. You may not know where this comes from. However, your innate knowledge of being a druid means that you understand that there must be some kind of God damn, really? This is fucking stupid. Some kind of ground underneath the soil that's not deep enough to root trees. So that's why the trees just seem to kind of stop. But otherwise, as far as your investigations go, it takes quite a while, EOA, for you to find anything that you can even think would be writing. However, what's her name? Mita will take you over to an area where she has they have seen some kind of writing previously. And as you look closely, you start to understand the pattern of what's here and kind of what you're looking for, though this would be the most prominent areas of writing that you can see. I need you to roll either history. I think it would be history. I was going to say arcana, but we haven't quite decided if your stuff is arcana yet, EOA. Solely, as you kind of like walking around this area and mapping it out, just on foot, it feels familiar. It feels almost as if these buildings, these footprints that you see were still here.
Well,
it would remind you of the only part that you've ever been allowed to in the Wolf's Den.
Yeah.
In Wolf Den Falls. It's very reminiscent of it. Though, of course, it's hard to tell at first, and it takes you a while. Nimu, you're looking for just cool stuff to...
So, he's kind of a history nerd, and I'm more interested in knowing, like, if there's any history written, if I would know of any history written about, like, ancient cultures of this area.
Okay, roll history.
I rolled the 21, by the way.
Okay.
I got a natural.
A natural one.
I'm way too interested in the room.
Yeah. So as far as this specifically goes, no. But you do hear Soli as she's walking around just kind of gasping every so often.
So then I would go up to her and try to figure out what they're seeing.
Okay.
What she's seeing and what's like, Soli, what's so interesting?
It reminds me a lot of my uncle's. Well, he's a Kingston, and it looks a lot like the den where he used to live in. So it's very interesting to see such similar structures all the way up over here, so far away.
So you think this is one of their old towns or villages?
Maybe it's just like a temporary den for Kingston travelers. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to find more here.
I'm gonna stay with Soli, and because I like runes and I like finding stuff. I'll kind of try to see if we can point out anything while we're looking around.
Okay. Jax, was there anything specific you were looking for?
Not knowing that I'm looking at it, but is there any druidic markings that stand out? That would be written in Druidic.
That would be written in Druidic?
Yeah, because they leave messages written in Druidic that you can spot the presence of it.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna come back to you. Dorus. Specifics?
From my check earlier, or like for something?
Yeah.
New? Oh, I was just investigating the floor a little bit more. Like, can I stick my stick down deep in it anywhere where it's like softer or?
Oh, good idea. So as you take your staff and you're just kind of like wiggling it around to see how deep this soil goes, if you do it in a few areas, some areas will be like 4 or 5 inches deep. Others you can't. The soil just keeps going. You're not quite sure how deep it is. Other areas seem to be no more than an inch or two, until the floor undulates in waves from what it used to be. You can assume, as the changes in the weather patterns here have just kind of, made it degrade over time and sink. And then you kind of find your way around, and you find a few areas where the floor itself is showing. And you would even see some remnants of what look like tiles that were once here. Okay, so I've hit on everybody. EOA. Did I get to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Okay, just making sure. So EOA, you're understanding now what you're looking for, and the structure, the words that, or the images that she showed you don't seem to have much meaning. It looks to be part of a name, perhaps part of the name of this city. And this isn't in the runes that you're quite looking for. This is more in a swaying, archaic type of lettering. Dorus might be able to tell you what it is, but you don't recognize it. You do know it's not exactly what you're looking for. And as you're kind of looking around, and you're watching Soli pace out what she assumes would be like different rooms, and she's talking to Nemu and explaining all of this stuff about the Wolf Den Falls and the Keenson, you start to get an idea what this place would have looked like. And so you start looking for areas where you would assume would be writing more so than others. Specifically in rooms that would be of meeting, or maybe histories or something like that. And you're walking around and you see a very faint partial rune on one of these broken pillars that's kind of at an angle, been pushed up and moved around. And it's not just a single partial rune. It looks to be a partial rune that was also woven within other patterns, maybe other runes. You're not quite sure. The part of the rune that you see could be either protection or help or save or something. You're not quite sure exactly what it is. And you keep moving around until you see Dorus looking at a tile or some kind of like whatever it is, this floor that's jutted up out of the dirt is, and these strange, obviously not stone patterns. And you kind of look at it, and it reminds you of part of the Vareki ruin, where they stored. You're not sure if that's where they stored knowledge, or if it was somebody's office, or it could have even been a meeting room where some information was just left. And you start kind of looking around that area. You find a wall. Partial. Some of it collapsed. The stone itself is eroded. And as you step in, and Dorus is kind of looking around and muttering to himself, Dorus, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. 22.
Dang, big roller.
Yeah, big. You can, as again, you can choose to fail this once it starts to happen in the brief split second that you see. You hear in a brief flash of light. At the same moment, Eoway, on this area that you're kind of looking, and you feel Dorus like stutter in a step, or like his mumbling that he's speaking and looking around stops. And you see a flash, though this is a little bit different than what Dorus sees. It's almost as if there was a pattern that briefly flashed in the area that you're looking. As if this was once a room or some kind of lights that used to be here. It was some kind of woven pattern. Some of them you noticed as runes.
And I tried to recall exactly what I saw in that flash.
You can. It was very, very brief. So, I'll hold on. Dorus, do you choose to try and focus in on this, or are you letting it go?
Do I recognize it as similar to the flash from last night?
In a way, yes.
Then yeah, if I feel like it maybe is the same sort of energy or the same sort of beings that gave me
Okay.
a memory last night, I'll let it happen.
Okay. So, Eoway, as you're like blinking, trying to keep that image in your mind, and suddenly you hear Dorus, or you hear a lack of something from behind you, and you're trying to remember the runes, and once again you see that one safe protection help partial rune suddenly, like, you know that was there. Not only was it there, but it was there multiple times. And you see a couple other ones that you partially recognize. It's like circle or ball or sphere, something like that. And then another one would be hold, stay. You're not super familiar with all of the runes, specifically ones that you haven't learned yet, but you do pick out a few in your mind. And then suddenly, as Dorus tries to see what's going on, you see what was there before. It's as if a projection of arcane energy has weaved in front of you and is part of something greater, though you kind of only see this one, whatever your vision would see in front of you, like an oblong circle of kinds. You don't quite see the whole pattern, but you can see what is in front of you. Soli, Jax, Nimu. As this is happening, you start to see strange flashes of lights around you. Where would you be in the ruin?
I'll be looking at the area where it's familiar looking to, like, the wolf den back home.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll be wherever she's at.
I'm gonna stick y'all in there.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Dorus. Jax. I would be over in this area. And there is... Okay. So, as in the way of Jax, I'm just going to assume that you are just kind of looking around, right? Wandering, looking for a very specific druidic thing.
Yeah.
Jax. Nothing written. However, you can feel the presence of a druidic. It's like somebody calling your name, but instead of your name, it's like it's calling towards your soul, and you feel a draw to dig beneath the dirt over the stones in front of you. Going back to Dorus and Eoway. Eoway, I am going to have you roll. I want to say insight or history to see what you know about these runes, or what you know about what you see in front of you.
That's
Dorus.
natural.
Oh, I'm sorry.
3.
A 3, big 3. Okay. Dorus. Those sounds, those lights. Flash. Candle flames flickering. Growing bigger and smaller, wavering. Find me. What? Help! And you turn around as you're trying to find where this voice is, and one of the flames is growing incredibly bright. And now you see a strange, almost like protection shield around it. And a wandering soul looking, and suddenly turns in the direction of this light and doesn't rush, doesn't run, doesn't move, and then suddenly is appearing in front of it. Help, please. And as her hand tries to touch the flame, the shield is keeping her from it. Ioe, the runes in front of you, you're trying to make sense of them, and for one, it's in a way that you've never seen it. It's not just runes. It seems to be other symbols, and you would know a few now that you've watched some of your teammates cast spells. And there's a mix of the Vareki runes and spell elements, and if you try to touch it, it kind of just wavers and then solidifies. However, the waving is very strong going to your left. Going to your right, which is towards the south, it stutters. It's not as if you touched water and it gently waves out. It has a stutter as it goes towards the south, or kind of waves towards the south, the southern area of Maze Hollow. There isn't anything else you can glean from this. Nemu. Oh, let me go back to Jax. Jax, are you gonna dig?
Heck yeah.
All right. So you just drop down and you start digging. Your hands turn to claws in the way of like a mole or something that digs quite frequently. And you just start brushing aside all of this dirt. And you get down to what you assumed once would have been the floor. And you just kind of keep pushing dirt away, and it has a partial wall there. And as you look, along the base of this wall are like druidic symbols. You may not understand them, but to you they feel like peace and calm, natural growth, and something greater, something. Roll insight for me. Soli and Nemu, you start seeing these strange flashes of light. Soli, one of them appears in nothing, and you know there should be a wall there. There's not one, but it's just this beautiful image of some kind of scenery. It's too fast for you to see. Nemu, you're looking around and you just see like these little blips of light everywhere, as if like these things are trying to show or trying to come back into view. A flash, like the symbol or the painting that Soli saw, a couple of images of. Roll on your wild magic table. Jax, what else would you have seen, or what else do you glean from druidic symbols?
Well, so my insight, I rolled a nat 1.
Wow, guys.
And then,
Whoa.
and then just get this, I doubled it down. I was like, why do I roll digital dice? I rolled my physical dice, nat 1. So
It was meant to be.
yeah. I'm guessing right now I am gleaming nothing but what you told me, and it's the first sense of peace of since
Okay.
I've awakened, and it's just kind of just over controlling my brain of just I feel
Okay.
at peace and just taking that in.
Okay. It is a steady, steadfast. You know, if you were to stay here, that's just how you feel. It would be never changing. So it is 11:10. Is this a good place as a cliffhanger? Maybe? I see
I want
Eoway
more.
going, runes! Runes, give them to me!
I sent you what the roll was for the wild type.
Oh no. Oh wait, that's showing on stream. Sorry guys.
Oh my god, I just rolled again and it was another nat 1.
Whoa.
That's 3 nat 1s in a row. I need to just quit life right
Isn't
now.
that like 1 in 8,000 chance?
Such a low chance.
So if we want to
Wait.
continue.
I rolled a nat 1 too.
Yeah, that's 4. That's true.
I
The
rolled
world
another.
ends!
I rolled another.
Wow. Okay, so that just means it's time to
That's low.
come back to this.
And
It's a great cliffhanger. Everybody's got a little bit of something going on. I'm going to exit Tailspire because otherwise I will keep talking about it. Are you serious?
Whoa, let me try mine. B20. See
dude,
what
that's
I
crazy.
I got a 4.
Guys,
Yeah.
I got a 1. I just rolled a 1.
I am so glad we stopped.
I got a 9.
Whoa.
You got a 9.
Oh shit.
So
A
bad.
fucking 9. I mean, this is going great.
But yo.
Alright, I gotta try rolling again until the 1 stop, right?
Yeah.
That's the second one I've rolled. I rolled a 1 on a skill check too. Early.
Well, it's not a nat 1, but it's a 2.
Okay, my second roll was a... and then a...
Wow.
and then a 3.
Okay, I'm gonna need y'all to fix your rolls before next week
Cool.
because there's some crazy shit going on.
Well, we
Okay?
can have another 3-hour battle.
I don't want another 3-hour battle. I really don't.
Go to 1 o'clock.
We just pat the enemies the whole time.
I know everybody's just like, "Ee, nice kitty."
So you're just gonna have to put doors in front of us, and then just it'll be 3 hours of us trying to get through a door with our
Yeah,
rolls.
lock
Yeah,
picking
yeah.
check, strength check.
Yeah. 0. Oh, yep, that's a -1
Roll
because.
the brave natural 1.
Mhm. I'm gonna break it
Somehow
down.
the door opens you.
Yeah, the door opens you. That's right. Well, I hope everybody's getting a little bit of their stuff from their characters tonight. That was the goal. We are, I don't know. I always think like I'm gonna throw cool stuff in front of you, and you're just gonna go, "Ooh, that was pretty cool. Let's keep going." And then we talk to cool creatures, which is fucking amazing.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah, so I just need to like cut out some stuff if we want to try and do combat every session. Y'all guys,
Just the way the games always go.
yeah. I mean, I can always like truncate some stuff. I hate
I don't think so.
random combats that don't have any kind of meaning. So, but if y'all want random combats that don't have any meaning, I can make that happen. But it was a lot of fun. I think we ended up getting some very interesting little tidbits for everybody's stories.
Yeah.
I think.
Definitely.
I can't believe EOA rolled a 1 to find out if there were any new runes here that you may have known.
The
That's
entire
okay.
point.
I know.
My entire goal.
I know.
Walk behind a natural 1.
I rolled a 1 on fucking history too, so I was trying to figure out the history of the year.
But do you have inspiration still?
Broke that.
No, I got rid of that last session.
Yeah.
No one
Oh
else
yeah,
used
I
their
forgot
inspiration.
about the inspiration.
Yeah, so I like
So-
you or Silas, you in this area you will be able to glean more knowledge. as you now know that there are runes here. So, mixed with other things, which is nothing that you expected. From what you know in the Vreki areas, the runes were not woven necessarily, and definitely not in conjunction with others. So it's very, very different. Very different.
The side of the mountain is strange.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. And then
Yeah, so far this is awesome, Tiff. Like, fantastic
Good.
job.
I'm glad y'all are enjoying it.
Yeah, I like all the story stuff, even if it takes us longer.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, too, like, it kind of goes hand in hand with how much mystery there is right now, and we're still trying to figure out what the heck is going on.
Yeah.
It's gonna start a little bit slower, so it makes sense.
Well, there is a combat planned, which, you know, we'll dive right into it next session, which will be great. Which will be
We're gonna
fantastic.
go.
Indubitably.
Indubitably. But I'm for next session, I am most excited to see what Dorus is going to fucking do.
Yes.
I am very, very excited to see, because there's a lot of shit that I don't even think Dorus knows about what's going on. So that'll be fun. What kind of creature was that lizard? I don't have a name for it.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't know if it was a actual creature, because any creature that we run into, I can technically turn into. It goes into my
Was it
repertoire.
really a lizard, like a reptile, or what? You said crawfish at one point. I imagine it more like a crustacean.
Well, I think of it like throwing dirt, like, you know how crawfish kind of build those little tunnels that come out of their little holes. That's kind of like how I think of it. Like it's tossed and then it was like landing in little globules, so you have like this little volcano mountain of dirt, you know?
Oh, I thought you were like saying it had claws or something.
No, I mean it had claws, but they're made for digging.
Like
Um,
pincers.
No,
it's a lizard
no,
crawfish.
Not pinchers. But yeah, it was just a bird into the fucking beer. It was so good. Just you laughing. But yeah, it's just a lizard. I can definitely make a stat block for it.
No, I just need to know if it was substantial or not, because I was like, oh, a lizard that can dig. Is that going to be useful? If it's not a real thing, then I'm not worried about it.
Oh, I can make it a real thing. You're gonna come across all kinds of fantastical creatures.
Well, that's the thing. I'm going to have like 7 billion things to turn into if I write every single one down. So it's like, I'm
Yeah, that's true.
not too worried about it. There's going to be
That's very
something
true.
at some point that I'm going to be able to use. So
What do you have to do to like remember it and do it later? Is it like
it's literally any animal that you come across. Once you've seen it, you can turn into it. So like right now, I mean, we started off with like it's basic like forest or animals. So
Are you Moon?
it's like technically, yeah.
Okay.
Can you turn into a beetle now?
Technically, yeah.
Emerald
Little-
beetle.
A little
I
emerald
can-
beetle.
That is cool. I've never been a druid. I should try it sometime.
they're
The way
super
that
flavorful.
mine's going to be a little bit different flavorful because I flavored the hell out of it. But yeah, essentially Circle the Moon Druid.
That's awesome.
Ooh.
What's really
Yeah.
cool is, and this was everybody's seen the D&D preview by now, right? The movie? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
Okay.
saw the big thing people are complaining about too.
The druid.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Why?
Because an owlbear is a monstrosity. So fuck that. Owlbears are not monstrosities, they are beasts. If you find an owlbear in the wild, you can then turn into an owlbear.
See, I actually agree with that. I think owlbears in the fantastical realm of D&D is a beast. I don't see it as a
Especially here.
monstrosity. Yeah.
Everything here, like monstrosities here would be twisted creatures. You know, things that are unnatural and made from magic. I would assume that in this place where you have flying mice, that an owlbear would be something that could naturally be evolved. So it is. And if there's
Yeah.
other things that we come across and you're like, that doesn't make any sense to be a monstrosity, then we'll work on that too.
It's just weird to me that in a fantasy game, like that would be stuck onto a monstrosity thing when it's clearly like a mix of a couple different species. It's just weird to me that like you would think stuff like that would be like a normal, like not a normal creature, but just a beast in a fantasy game.
Yeah.
It's the distinction, like monstrosity. I could think of like there are a lot of things that I looked up that make sense as monstrosities, right? But like that's just not one of them. That's weird to me.
Yeah, well, it's like unicorns and dragons. Nope, they're fantastical beasts. They're
Yeah.
not monstrosities. So same thing as an owlbear.
Well, dragons are dragons, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like
Yeah.
in the realm of fantasy, like you
Yeah.
don't look at it as a monstrosity.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at like minotaurs, though, yeah, that's a monster. That would be a monstrosity,
Yes.
in my opinion.
Well, it's a fae, so it's not even considered. Like it's a it's a humanoid. It's not any kind of beast at all. But yeah, so if you come across a wild owlbear, you can turn into a fucking owlbear.
Sweet.
And anything else that we come across and you're like, that would be fucking cool. I will say you cannot turn into the drig. Any of the drig. And
Say DM's discretion.
Yeah, I'll ask, kind of like
Yeah.
how I did there with the lizard. Like, I'll ask it, hey, can I turn it into that? And then it's just a thumbs up or down.
that would be fun though. I'll have to make a stat block for your lizard. Because it's just fun. It's a little
Yeah.
armor dude. You know, he'd have high AC.
I
Be able to
you
kick
could
some
dig in
ass
the
with that
ground for
tail.
something, you-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
And that giant freaking maul of a club tail. Bah! Be awesome.
Way cooler than like a mole or something.
Yeah, it would be cooler than mole. By the
Sweet.
way, random, I didn't tell you this because I didn't have time. I was at my neighbor's house across the street, and apparently groundhogs are a real animal. Not only, no, okay, so by the way, Amelia, groundhogs are real animals,
Whoa.
Yeah.
and you can see them in the fucking wild, and they just show up in your backyard and dig around and eat shit.
Yeah, I saw one in our neighborhood.
Right, but that's completely different. Like, we saw some on the side of the road, and I was like, that can't be what I think it is. There's just no fucking way. Those aren't real animals. They're fairy tales. However, so I'm sitting in my neighbor's backyard, and I'm sitting in, like, her little she shed, which is, like, a screened-in porch on the back of the house. And I look over, and there's a groundhog chilling in the neighbor's backyard. Just grazing, looking for bugs or whatever the fuck they do. I don't even know what they eat. I'm pretty sure they eat pixies. And so I'm like, is that really a thing? I was like, is that a groundhog? She said, yeah. Are you serious? Stopped the entire conversation. We were having like political conversations. About education. And I just stopped dead and I'm just staring at this thing. And it's just chilling with its cute little nose, digging around, finding shit. And it's big. And I'm like, holy shit.
There's a cemetery in the area that's having an issue with them. They actually found a bone above ground because like it's been digging through the cemetery so much, and some of the graves are from like the early 1800s.
So they were like in wooden coffins, and that's so cool. That's so cool. But yeah, I was just like,
that's why I put that stake in our backyard, and then because it's supposed to keep that kind of shit away.
yeah, she was like, it's like our neighbor's dog. It actually lives 2 doors down, and it just kind of roams around, and I'm going,
That's crazy.
okay. It's out there and like did groundhog things. She was like, it doesn't tell us the fucking weather though. It's useless.
I mean, I did see a couple deer just walking across the road the other day in our neighborhoods, so
Whoa.
apparently it's pretty wild over here.
Amelia
That's
would
very
get my
cool.
excitement.
Yeah, I've never seen one before.
Yeah. Yeah.
What, you thought Punxsutawney Phil was a fucking rabbit, or what?
Who?
Seriously?
Is that the
What
one that
is
tells
that?
the weather? It's-
Yeah.
What is
oh,
that?
That's the famous one apparently that like tells you if winter's gonna end early or
Oh, is that the name of it?
Stay
I
around.
I thought it was a Groundhog Day.
Yeah,
That
I
was
thought,
fun.
I don't know, that, they may have been real creatures at one point, but they don't actually exist because I had never seen one.
You realize we live in the internet age, right? Like you can look all this stuff up. It's
I
not a
realize
medical
it makes me sound really dumb. But
Just
it would
come
be
and
like the
visit
same.
us. I guarantee
They're
you'll
pretty
see
common
one.
up here,
I see one at least once a week.
Yeah.
And it's like, it would be like going to Texas and seeing, well, I don't know, armadillos aren't just a Texas Southern thing anymore.
Yeah. So
But like,
is it
armadillos are crazy looking. They're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen pictures. You're like, oh yeah, armadillos. But you watch this creature like crawl across the ground and dig, or they play. They roll up in little balls and roll around, and you're like, holy fuck, it's a
Oh.
real creature. That's how I felt about the groundhog.
Yeah, the groundhogs and like groundhog like was just a giant squirrel that was very fat.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's a big fucking creature.
They are big. I know the one I saw was fucking huge. Looked like a small dog. Actually, it looked like a beaver almost, like the size of it. It's pretty big. It didn't look like a beaver, but it was a pretty big.
For the armadillo, I didn't know, like, I know they existed, but I didn't know they lived here.
So they just started moving north as it's gotten warmer. They started to move further north. So they did spot one in Chicago, as far north as Chicago, but
getting too hot in Texas. For armadillos.
That's insane.
But anyway, so that's my fun. I'm a very naive, stupid person sometimes fact for the day.
Yeah, what was it? The opossum I saw too the other day, over across the street, just chilling.
I love possums. They're so funny.
Just walking across the street.
They're giant whiskers. A little bitty noses.
I'm with Jazz. Fuck that. They're like giant fucking scary rats.
Aw, they're cool. They eat ticks, guys.
They're mean. They're mean.
Yeah, they're mean, but they eat ticks.
I went outside this morning to bring in our trash bin, and apparently there was a fight in my driveway from some sort of animals, but there's a big trail of blood like going across our driveway. It's like, oh, something happened.
Wow.
Possum and raccoons are fucking having turf wars over there.
I know we have raccoons, so I'm guessing those were fighting each other. But yeah, I'm like, I gotta rinse that off for the kids. What's that?
Yeah. Aw, poor little trash panda. Who would win against between a raccoon and a possum?
Depends. Because possums can get bigger, I think. Than
possums tend to be more vicious, whereas as far as raccoons go, they're more smart.
Are possums kind of the American honey badger? Do they just not give a fuck?
Yeah. But then again, I mean, I don't know. I think it'd be a good fight.
Yeah, we do.
Fuck, I didn't know that.
Okay, so here we go. A raccoon is a bit more dangerous than the more passive behavior of a possum. I've seen people like talking like, you know, you can go on the internet and find cool stuff about possums, and they'll literally just pick up a wild fucking possum, and the thing just like lays there. It's like, fuck.
Maybe a baby one that doesn't know better. If you meet a big one, it's gonna be an asshole, guaranteed.
But they play dead.
We don't have a honey badger. We don't have honey badgers here. They're in Africa and India and fucking Middle East. How dare you?
I've never seen one playing dead, but I never got close to one either, I guess.
Yeah.
But I have seen them fighting other things and doing asshole things to like smaller animals.
Yeah, I know we have raccoons around here because I've seen them dead on the side of the road, but I haven't like seen one alive. Apparently, we used to have an issue in the neighborhood. The neighbors used to live in our neighbor's house before they moved in. Like that, they had a whole family between the two houses and everything that lived there.
Just leave your trash uncovered one night and you can meet them.
Yeah. I don't know. I like raccoons. I like possums. I think they're really freaking cool animals.
I think they're all super underrated animals as far as like intelligence and stuff. Everybody looks at them as a nuisance, but I think they're crazy interesting. A lot of those animals.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my fun fact. My fun thing for the day. I'm gonna end stream. Night, everybody. If anybody's here still, Sympaticos, thank you so much for stopping in. I love seeing your name across my screen.
Yeah.
And I'll see you if Friday. Fucking space.
Yeah, no,
fucking space on Friday.
I gotta finish that shit.
Okay.
I gotta finish up that set.